weird. Yes, you did. Made it weird.
What's happening, weirdos? This is Joey Bragg, the very funny, interesting, kind, and smart Joey Bragg, who's been doing stand-up since his teenage years, which is a very interesting story. He's also been acting in movies and TV, a lot of it on the Disney Channel, since he was young as well. So we're talking with child star and stand-up comedian Joey Bragg. Joey Bragg emailed me about 10 years ago, and it's been really, really fun to watch his career blossom and explode over the past decade. And on this episode, we actually read that email, talk a little bit about our Facebook friendship all those years ago and how it applied or didn't apply to his career and how it's blossomed. So a couple things to plug up top. Thank you for being here. Means a lot. I'm on the road. Go to PeteHolmes.com. It's a new hour. I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm going to be in Bloomington, Indiana. Salt Lake City sold out. Thank you to all my Utah friends. We have new episodes of Batman firing the Justice League dropping every Thursday. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube. It's just Pete Holmes on YouTube. And keep an eye out for that as well. And we're brought to you by, what is it? Only one Pete's Pick, and it's an OG Pete's Pick. This is the one that kind of started it all. It's Alpha Brain from our friends at ONNIT. You guys know I'm serious about Alpha Brain. I'm wearing my jacket. I actually have Alpha Brain pills in my pocket of every jacket. I have it in my car. I have it in my travel bag. I take it before every podcast. I take it before I write scripts. I take it before I do stand-up. I even take it before I just go out to a party and want to have full access to my brain, to my creativity, to my language centers. If you're doing something, and chances are you are, that involves your brain, whether it's just living, working, writing, emails, I don't know what you're up to, but if it involves your brain and you want better, more clear memory, concentration, and focus with earth-grown ingredients that is not a stimulant, that is what Alpha Brain is from ONNIT. It doesn't get you wired or jittery. It just gives your brain the earth-grown nutrition that it needs to dial in and focus and concentrate. I call it like fish food for my creativity. Like all my little ideas are fish swimming around. And I sprinkle the Alpha Brain on and they eat it up. And I just get into that creative state so much more easily. I've been taking it for over a decade. I love it. If you like it 1/10 as much as I like it, you're going to shit your pants. It's incredible. Go to ONNIT, ONNIT.com/weird. You'll get 10% everything you see on that landing page. That's ONNIT, ONNIT.com/weird. All right, everybody, that's it. Enjoy Joey Bragg. What a fun chat we had. And hope to see you on the road. PeteHolmes.com. All right. Get into it.
No, you can have that. You can have that right here. Put it right here.
Liquid death water, right? Is it energy water?
It's not energy water.
I guess so. Every time they have liquid death, like I don't trust myself to know that it's water.
No, I've bought it and I'm like, I'm sober.
Yeah.
I can't drink this. It's just water. And yours is bubble water because we ran out of the regular one.
Ooh, fun. I got regular water right here, baby. I come prepared.
Catstronaut?
Yeah. Cats. We sent dogs to space. Never once did we try to send a cat to space.
Did we send dogs to space?
Yeah, or Russia did.
Russia sent dogs.
We sent dogs to space and with no intent on ever bringing them back.
Dogs?
Yeah.
Very interstellar.
Very interstellar. Can you imagine? There's a Marvel comic called Cosmo that's about the Russian dog that goes to space, then crash lands on like an alien planet, and they like take him in, and
he's their king, I hope.
And he's yeah, he's
Is
their
he?
He's like got tele.
Wait, did they go and they died out there?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what else? So they're not gonna like pilot to another planet.
Wait. Okay, this is great. When we sent the dogs, what was the point? Do you know? I know you're not
was
a
to
NASA.
see,
see if a living thing could live?
I think so, yeah.
So was there a button they would push to be like, we're alive?
We got it. Just give us a woof. I don't know. I think we also sent chimps.
There's a man in NASA going, give us a woof. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
We got a woof? All right, cut the transmission. He's gone.
And then he dies.
I think America sent chimps and then Russia sent dogs. And America was like...
Wouldn't you think it's the opposite? Sorry to interrupt.
No, totally.
But if a nation was going to be like, we send it... I can't do Russia. I'm going to just do German. We send it a chimps! And we'd be like, we send dogs.
Yeah,
America's animal.
They sent like nature's human, like the closest human thing you can get.
They sent dogs.
They sent dogs. We sent chimps.
The closest to human.
Yeah.
Which is that makes sense.
So messed up. Because like at the same... Oh, deaf. Yeah, what do you think they're doing? You think they're parachuting back down to Earth?
Can I tell you?
They're gone,
Do you
buddy.
want to hear the weirdest thing?
Yeah.
I've said, Katie, have I said the thing about eating dogs before? I don't think we should eat dogs. I'm just saying there was this debate on CNN where they were like, should we eat dogs? And the poor guy on the, you know, he was videoing and he was going to be arguing for eating dogs. And I was just looking at him and he just looked stressed and sweaty and I felt so bad for him. And dude, if he didn't come on and convince me, look, here's why. Because we are already killing, see, NASA's killing them.
Yeah.
And we're killing thousands of dogs, I think a day.
Just by not being cute enough. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Our thing is like whether somebody wants to adopt. People buy. I'm like a big anti-buying dogs person.
Don't buy them dogs, you say.
Don't buy them dogs, I say.
Because there's lots of
There's
them.
ugly little dogs in a dog prison waiting to be killed.
And
that
there's
you should
cutie
save.
little dogs. My dog was on the chopping block,
really?
as it were. Yeah, and he's adorbs.
Yeah, great. There's
Yeah.
some cute little diamonds in the roughs there.
Rough.
Hey, Diamond in the Rough. That's my charity. I'm gonna start. Diamond in the
You
Rough.
shouldn't. You have to wait for that. When I was in Israel, yep, that's right.
Ooh, wow.
I love
Zionism,
cats.
baby.
Every guy's into Zionism to all three cameras.
Like I'm back on a sitcom set.
There are cats, and the cats in Jerusalem are like rats.
Oh,
It's
really?
and I love cats. I'm a cat
love
person.
cat- me too.
And you get up there and you see enough pirate cats. Like there's a
one-eyed
cat, like weird one, or like one weird eye that's like scanning, like
and
the
a little
Terminator.
wooden leg.
Oh my God. Very quickly you go, these aren't cats. These are a third thing. This is another kind of animal. Because they're everywhere and they're just, you lose your sympathy because they're so not cute. I can't believe I'm
Really?
saying this. As
Like
I'm saying this, I
deformed
don't
cute.
agree with myself. Yeah, I guess you could say deformed, but just like, you know, who shaved the side of your face?
You
Like,
learned the same lesson that the kids from the Goonies learned when
Is
they
that-
met Sloth.
Is that an ugly thing can be beautiful?
An ugly thing can be beautiful. Those little weird-eyed cats. And I just went to Costa Rica, and I got in a big
Bragg.
argument with my friend. A big
Joey
humble
Bragg.
brag. That's my name.
What a nightmare.
That's my opening joke.
What a
I'm
nightmare.
about to brag. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Hack. But I just went to Costa Rica.
You just cut yourself. Hack. Don't do that.
You gotta do that.
No, don't do that.
There was a cat, like me and my friend went there, and there was a cat that like clearly had ringworm, but was so desperate for affection from the people staying in that like little hotel-y commune thing.
Yeah. How did you know it had ringworm?
Because it like has ringworm, like little bald ringy wormy spots on
Oh
it.
no, really?
Yeah, and I was not about to tell this cat you are not getting the snuggles that you
You
want."
gave it?
Yeah.
You gave it ringworm?
My friend, it was like the
snuggles?
only argument me and my friend got in the entire week we were in Costa Rica. 'Cause
Was
he's
that
like,
you should love this cat?
no, that he didn't think I should.
Yeah.
I'm giving unconditional love to cats. I'm like Jesus with the guys with leprosy.
Yeah.
No,
No.
like Princess Diana with the AIDS guys.
Yeah.
It
Or
goes
Mother
Jesus-
Teresa leprosy.
Of course.
If you want to go down in the annals of history,
The annals of history.
the annals of history is a whole other thing. You want to go down in the annals of history.
Yeah.
There's certain porn stars that go down in the annals. That's how they get there. No, it's annals, isn't it, Katie?
Annals of
It's not channels. I think it's annals.
canals.
Canals. The Venetian, if you want to go in the Venetian canals, hang out with leopards. It's right there. Everybody's on Instagram and TikTok. You want to be famous, go hang out with some leopards.
Yeah, right.
But for a long time.
I know.
The
yeah.
first 9 years, nobody cared.
Also, where are the good lepers nowadays? I've never seen like a group of lepers hanging out.
No.
No.
Never see a it's called a gaggle.
Gaggle
A gaggle of lepers. I think in it, there's no good sentence. There's no good
Did
sentence.
we fix it?
I think there are some parts of the world where, for all of its troubles, the United States, it did a good job at cleaning up certain diseases.
Smallpox.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Which we gave
Measles.
to a bunch of people. Measles.
Yeah, smallpox.
Although we are the country that is like anti-vax. So like when measles just came back, that was us.
It came back?
We brought measles back. It came back for like a little bit. Like some woman refused to vaccinate her kids and then flew on a plane. Her kid got measles, and then everybody's like, "She's restarted measles. Measles 2.0."
They rebooted measles.
They rebooted measles.
Who cast as measles?
Sarah Finn, the Marvel lady.
Who's Sarah Finn?
The
I wanna
casting
join
director of
that
like
riff.
Marvel and Star Wars. She's like the #1 casting director.
Oh, she casts all of them.
She casts all like the big franchises.
Oh,
If you
so
want
of
it-
course you know her name.
Of course I know. her
Where's
name.
the Joey Bragg?
I know.
You'd be
I'm not
great in
here
that.
yet. I auditioned for Spider-Man when they were recasting Spider-Man.
be
for the
great as
MCU.
Spider-Man.
I thought so too, Pete. I said the same
Because what is
thing.
it? Who is dead? Stu?
What?
Who's dead? You're in a movie called.
Oh, Sid is dead.
How did you not get it from Stu is
Did your
dead?
research? I don't
Stu
know.
is dead, and it's a 3-letter S name is dead, and you're
I
like,
just wanted to hear you say it.
oh, Stu is dead. But I'm watching the trailer for Stu is dead. You're the movie that you're. It's already out.
It's out. Yeah.
It's out,
We filmed it
baby.
like before pandemic, so it's
Pre-plan.
like pre-planned.
We call it the plan.
The plandemic.
The plandemic.
Yeah, I knew it as soon as I saw the cross.
Look, I'm
I
looking
was
for
like,
downloads. I'm looking for hits. I'm looking for eyeballs. What do I need to say?
Hey.
It was a pandemic.
When has Joe Rogan been on your podcast?
No.
You should do that. That's where your viewers are. You want to talk about the plandemic?
Yeah.
Talk about sending dogs to space.
Yeah, I'm barking up the wrong cosmos.
Hey.
Okay, so the pandemic, pre-plan.
Yeah, we shot that pre-planning.
But yeah, when I watched it, I was like, this is very Spider-Man-y. And
Yeah,
your
right?
Trey, perfect.
It's the greatest part of being Spider-Man without the cool parts being Spider-Man. It's like I got the nerdy high
You got
school
beat up.
story without being like,
You're basically
Web-slinging.
Stu is dead is you, but no spider.
yeah,
It's Peter Parker gets bullied,
yeah.
fears for his life.
Has a crush that is not rekindled because he doesn't get ripped and loses glasses all of a sudden.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, so you auditioned for it.
I auditioned for Spider.
What was the scene?
There
you still
was-
remember the lines?
I did. Yeah, of course. You want to go? I
Yeah.
printed it out. Is that okay?
That'd be great.
Um,
I can improv Mary Jane. Peter. That's all I have to say.
that's pretty good.
Peter, you're just never around. And then you,
Well, I got a bad job.
is that Spider-Man?
That's Spider-Man. That's why I
That
didn't
was
get
good.
it.
No, I was
Really?
saying like, is that Bill Shakespeare over there? Like you totally transformed.
It's
You'd be
the
a great
neuroses.
Spider-Man.
In the audition, I got a callback for it, and in the audition, they give you like dummy sides to read that aren't from the script. And
Of course, because they don't want to.
Because they don't want to leak it, and I'm like reading the superhero movie forums, like that's my jam. So
really?
I would have leaked it.
Oh no!
But
Don't say that.
They said they gave me this scene that was like, friend finds out that his other friend is getting to go to space. Like, so that's, and
Okay.
I was making the comedic choice of my character at the end of the scene is like, I'm overheating, I'm hyperventilating. And I was like, I'm just going to go and, use my comedy chops. 3 cameras, 1, 2, 3.
None of them are on. Keep going.
This is just like a
None of
make-a-wish.
them are on. Yeah, no, I'm not going to yes and that riff. I was ready to do it. The rules of riffing made me want to yes and it, but the rules of making you feel welcome oddly terminated the riff.
Nice.
Yeah, you
Look
don't
at
see that
me.
a lot on this
No,
show.
it takes precedent.
The yes and rule covers almost any topic. By
Yeah,
the way.
I know.
If you're yes anding,
Here we go. You already
the
yes and
uncancelable area.
you yes and Zionism earlier. That was
I
a
just
risky biz.
acknowledged it. I just acknowledged that you said it. I think if we play the tape back, you'll notice all I said was Zionism.
Yeah, well,
and then
thank
I
God
kinda
these
looked
aren't-
around.
these aren't
No,
filming.
they're not on.
Anyway, I had this dummy audition, and I was like, I'm gonna make the comedic choice of continuing, just improving until they tell me to stop. And I have never regretted an audition more.
Oh, no.
I took my shirt off. Like, I think that's why they didn't give me Spider-Man, because they saw my weird little skinny body, and they're
But
like,
that's fine. They'll give you some creatine and some pull-ups. You'll be blending chicken breasts at 3
Yeah.
a.m. You'll be fine.
I'll do the Hugh Jackman thing, where I'm miserable for the rest
Hugh
of my life.
Jackman was like Wolverine, was engineered like Weapon X by another entity.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? He did the
Yeah.
efforting, but they were like, "This is what you do." I am trying to take a little bit away from him.
I get it.
I'm just
Also-
saying, $100 million franchise. They're gonna make sure you look great.
Yeah.
And now I'm sure he's somewhere going like, "Croik, I had too much brekkie," and he's getting a little
Boy,
soft.
I miss toast. I haven't had a gummy worm in 30 years.
He's cutting toast with the claws, which is a
Sick.
great implement. You get 3 slices
Although
every
would-
time you go.
Would you be sad they're not serrated? Would that be like really annoying every once in a while?
But they're adamantium,
Yeah. good
so
job.
they don't need to be serrated.
Yeah, that's true.
Serration is just because of a deficit in the ability of steel.
Wow. Write that down.
Serration is
Serration.
just somebody put that in your rap song.
The deficit.
Put that in your rap tune.
Yeah.
That'll be the chorus.
Give that to Ice Cube.
Okay, Here's the social clip. Joey Bragg regrets his Spider-Man audition.
I think I would
Give
be
it
a
to us
millionaire.
clean. What's that?
I would be a millionaire if I had
Yeah.
just kept my fucking shirt on.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Why did you take it off? The scene ends. You're like, I'm going to space. I got to go to space. And then you just decide to hyperventilate?
I thought it would be really funny to just like continue the bit to a point of like absurdity.
Because you're nervous.
Yeah, because I mean,
The character
the
is
character
nervous.
is nervous.
Yeah.
Also, real life Joey was nervous.
Yeah.
But
Use it.
use it. I was like, use my surroundings. What are these other people gonna do? They're gonna read the script. They're
Yeah.
gonna get to the end, and they're gonna finish.
You can hear them. You know when you
Yeah,
can hear
I
an
hate
audition?
when that happens.
And you're like, sometimes I get an idea. I'm like, that's how he
Me
did
too.
it. Okay.
Also,
nice choice.
I've done it before where I feel the same way about comedy, which is gonna make me sound conceited. I get so much of my confidence by realizing how bad other people are at it.
Welcome to the show. That's exactly. I always tell people, go to an open mic. You're afraid to try it, just go to an open mic and just look. It's not
Be the
that
king.
they're terrible. It's that like everyone's terrible.
Yeah, in
and then you go
comedy.
up, and then when you watch someone do it well, it can embolden you as well.
Yeah.
So why did you take your shirt off?
Well, I just thought, honestly, I didn't add too much like backstory to the character. I wasn't like thinking. I just thought in the moment, this character's hyperventilating, it would be funny and different
To
and
take your shirt off.
to set me you know,
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
And I think it set me apart, but in like another category, not set me apart in like a
Bad
good way.
set apart.
Set me apart in like.
But you were playing that you were like panicking. I'm going to space. I'm going to space. And like in a weird like,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do. I'm going to take my shirt off.
Yeah.
And what does the casting director do?
Thank you so much. That's what they said. They said, "Oh, great, thank you so much."
That's like the bless your heart.
yeah,
of
exactly.
casting.
I
Thank
don't-
you so much. You're still going. Thank you.
Yeah.
You keep
Waiting
going.
for cut. I don't stop until I hear cut.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Peter Parker's friend. I say, yes, handing them.
Oh my God, you won't break the scene.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt worse for a cat? You know who I feel bad for in auditions is forgive, but it always seems to be an attractive young woman assistant.
Yeah.
Who's running the camera. And I feel bad for her because unlike the casting director who's built up a psychic shield against all the neediness, they seem to still believe in it. It's like they
Yeah.
just started working at the farm. You know what I mean? Like
They haven't put down enough cows yet. to
that's
be-
it. So the casting director's like, neck. Like it
She's
just doesn't-
naming them still.
Yeah.
Just like,
She's going, Betsy. And you can see the toll it takes.
so sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh my
Go
God. Oh,
ahead.
Captain Hollywood's calling me.
Oh, well, you better take
I
it.
better take it. So sorry.
Yeah, I like that riff. I think that's accurate and very good at the end.
Yeah.
So, but how, you don't get it, and how bummed are you that you didn't get to
I mean,
be
I'm bummed I
Spider-Man?
don't get everything. But Spider-Man, usually if I don't get a part or like I go out for something and I get close and then I don't end up getting it, I spitefully hate the show. Even when it's good.
Oh, yeah.
Or like I will like refuse
I
to
just
watch
realized
it.
I was watching The Bear, and I was like, I read for the. It's great when you read for somebody and you're like, oh,
They're
I
much
was
better.
so wrong.
Yeah.
And that is the case. It was the brother or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not like him at all. And he's like fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, no. But sometimes I audition for something and I thought I should have gotten it, and I will have a hard time enjoying someone
Yeah,
else's
right?
interpretation.
And I also had this thing where like there's nothing against the people that get the parts I auditioned for, but I hate them and they're my mortal enemy.
yeah. Nothing against them, but they must die.
They must die for me to succeed.
Who got it? Is this the Spider-Man?
Tom Holland got it.
Is that the one?
Yeah. They went British. They all-
Uncharted?
Yeah.
Uncharted guy?
Uncharted?
I know him more from Uncharted.
You know him more from the Uncharted
I'm a
movie?
huge Uncharted fan. Not the
Really?
game. Not the game. Just,
Just
the movie.
Just
I actually
the
think the
film.
game fell short. The movie, casting Wahlberg as a 90-year-old confidant, was a good choice.
Good choice. Casting Wahlberg in Wahlberg could play that chimp in space. He
Wahlberg
could play
would be
anything.
a great chimp in space.
Yeah.
Well, that's just because maybe you're thinking he was in Return of the Monkey Men. What is it called? Planet of the Apes? Return of the
Was
Monkeys.
he in the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes? I don't think I've ever seen that one.
You are missing
Is it-
zero. You're better. You're better than me for having not. I don't even mean they're that bad. The Planet of the Apes movies, I've never felt more like I should be something.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of watching a movie.
Once you watch the first one and it ends and you're like, oh, they're on Earth, that's a nice, like, done. We got
we're
it.
done.
That was the twist.
But they were like, No.
No.
It keeps going.
Keeps going. They're still on Earth.
And
How
Mark
are the
Wahlberg's
monkeys?
like, hey, how's it going? You a monkey? What's going on over
This
here?
whole government's run by monkeys?
Oh my God, this is like the government back on Earth. Am I right? He looks into the camera. It's like a bunch of monkeys in Congress.
Looks at the camera. Watch Transformers 4. October
Mark!
24.
Mark!
Stop it!
But it makes the movie.
Yeah.
Why did it make the final cut? He had to.
He refused to do any other takes.
He had to. I knew somebody that was in a Mark Wahlberg movie and they were like scared. I think he's just so powerful.
Yeah.
And he's like a producer.
And you know he's committed hate crimes too, so you're like, this guy is.
You mean the blinding
He's
thing?
gonna do the blinding thing,
Yeah,
and the
blinding.
rocks, and the throwing in the rocks and stuff.
They was throwing rocks?
Yeah, throwing rocks.
I
and
didn't know the
shouting
rocks.
racial slurs. Yeah,
Oh, no.
I know. But Donnie did nothing wrong. Why do we annex Donnie?
Next.
what do we call that? What do we do? Get rid of Donnie?
That's great. In the NBC show The Office, Donnie's desk is next to Toby. He's
Yeah.
in the annex.
Yeah, exactly.
But Wahlberg, he's in Michael Scott's office.
What did I just see? Donnie Wahlberg like does a reality show. Not the.
Does he?
I think so. It's like a true crime. He's the guy that walks in and then Deborah was never seen again, or was she? I'm Donnie Wahlberg. It'll be like that.
Or was she? Donnie, please stick to the script. She wasn't seen again. We're ending the piece. We
I
don't
feel
need suspense.
So bad. I think about Donnie Wahlberg. Somebody said this that they were writing Jim Belushi's autobiography with Jim Belushi,
Yeah.
who we all know as the brother of John Belushi.
Yeah.
And Jim Belushi said the funniest thing, and I think the same thing applies to Donnie Wahlberg. He said, "When I die, the first line of my obituary will read, Jim Belushi, brother of John Belushi, who died of a heroin overdose
Yeah.
at the Chateau Marmont." Like the first two lines
Yeah.
of his obituary
Yeah.
will be,
Did John Belushi die at the Chateau Marmont?
I don't know. I made that up. But it was heroin.
Fake news.
Fake news. The Chateau Marmont?
Buddy, I'm going to say something hot take because I'm going for clicks.
Ooh, wow.
I'm just kidding.
Zionism, baby.
Look, all three. I'd rather be Donnie than Mark every
Whoa.
single day.
Why?
Every single day.
But the muscles, the looks, the fame, the fortune.
Those muscles are like a shitty dog you have to walk 28 times a day. It keeps waking you up, shitting on the sofa. You have to pray for a movie where you're a little bit fat. So you
Boy,
can-
do I miss toast. It's the same
Exactly.
thing. Yeah.
And Wahlberg has to get up and I've heard Wahlberg, Mark, complain about having to gain weight for a role. He's like, it's not fun. You got to wake up and eat a fucking pizza at 2 a.m. Like he takes it, even that is joyless. I'm like, you can't even get fat happy
What roles is Mark Wahlberg needing to commit to that
he's beefy,
he needs to get? Like what?
soft,
No one's hiring Mark Wahlberg.
heavier.
Yeah, what do I say?
You can say heavier.
Can I say fatter?
I don't think you can say beef.
I don't think I can say beefier. I don't think I can
Yeah.
say fatter anymore.
No.
Overweight is-
Heavier. No,
Yeah.
overweight assumes that weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't assume weight.
There's no normal weight.
There's no normal weight.
Yeah, normal weight. Normal weight.
Yeah, we're all normal
My
weight.
600-pound life.
You're
That's
a normal weight. You know why? Because it's what's happening. That's right.
That's
It's
your
true.
homeostasis.
That's right.
being that.
Yeah, that's right.
Super big.
Don't say being that, because that really sounded like you were talking about a truck. This is what you are.
I
You're
mean-
this. And it's like, my name's Daniel. All right, that.
In the scale from like
Don't say
humans to
scale
trucks,
when talking about.
they're closer to trucks.
Well, I mean,
Closer to trucks than I am.
on one level,
Yeah.
a number which is not you.
Yeah. Their
This-
mobility is not as close to trucks as I am. I could mimic a truck mobile wise.
That's
better than they
interesting.
can.
Well, the MPH, you're
Yeah.
more like a truck.
Way more like a truck.
LBS, they're more
More
like,
like a truck.
This is a confusing area because we're both trying to be body positive and inclusive, and
Yeah.
yet there's still kind of like a minty aftertaste
know.
of body shaming.
I think that's my fault. I think I did that.
But I, in the role of yes anding,
You did it.
Happily joined you.
I wish that I could say that I started this podcast thinking, I'm going to see what Peter yes and me too.
It's a great, and it's a documentary.
Yeah.
We want to see
Supersize me.
if we can take someone down by getting him to yes. That's like a Sacha Baron Cohen level.
That is, yeah. That's pretty much his whole show.
I think hot take number 2. First, Donnie over Mark every day.
Yeah,
I'm not even
crazy.
done with that.
Okay, yeah.
Muscles are like, oh, dog, you have to walk 28 times a day. That's number 1. Let me tell you hot take number 2. What were we just saying? Yes anding.
Yes anding. What were we gonna say?
Body shaming.
I live in the now, Pete.
I
live in
know.
the current.
I can tell we're very similarly wired. It's going to be an issue for remembering what we were just talking about.
What were we talking about? People yes anding, yes and yes anding someone to cancellation.
Yeah.
Yes
that's
anding
right.
someone to cancellation. That's a cool.
Oh, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh yeah, there we go. Borat,
Well done.
baby, we're back.
I think Borat in, I'm going to say 3 years. So, Katie, it's 2023. By 2026, there will be a full-scale Borat Was Never Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I
You think so?
And I'm saying this as a fan of Borat. So there I go. I
Wow.
just fell off the flat earth.
You're not coming on
Going
to Who
for
Is America.
clicks.
I didn't even catch it.
I'm just saying, like, it'll be, you know, when you watched videos of like fucking, I don't know.
Like old stand-up even.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
there was a time when it was okay to put in buck teeth and pretend
Yeah.
to be Asian. I
Yeah.
am saying that is wrong.
Yeah.
But there was a time that was mainstream.
There was a beautiful time in history is what you're saying.
I didn't say beautiful. Don't make me yes and that. There was a horrid time in history, and we evolved. And I think sometimes I'll see Sasha on a talk show being like, and Kazakhstan got really mad that I was pretending to be the ambassador of Kazakhstan,
Yeah.
and I took a shit on the table. What's up, Kazakhstan? There's a time, I'm saying 2026, when we're all gonna go like,
Oh yeah.
that's not okay. And
Even now.
yeah, you can say it now.
It's sprinkling in now.
Look, in the documentary about that turn, this conversation will be audio only over a black and white photo of him, and it'll only be like 4 seconds.
Yeah. I think too with the whole thing about Borat is that like it's a country that nobody knows, and I'm going to come out as this character from this country nobody knows,
Right.
and that's like how we got away with it because
Right.
everyone's like Kazakhstan, they know it's a country but they don't know anything enough
Right,
to like
right.
be able to tell this
Which
is an
you could
actor.
say, in Sasha's defense, that's part of the joke.
Yeah.
Is that like, you're ignorant.
But I just literally for probably my first time in my whole life met a woman from Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Like last week, and the first thing out of her mouth was Borat. We think Borat is sexy hot. Like that was her joke and her bit. And I was like, oh, you have to lean into what another country did to
It's
mock
like
you because that's
being
all
named
anybody knows.
Melania.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like being named Melania is being from Kazakhstan.
yeah.
And there are probably as many people in America named Melania as there are people in Kazakhstan. I'll go on the record saying that I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going for clicks.
Find it and name another Melania. I can't. Melania Lewinsky.
I know Melania. Guess what? She's Lonnie now.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
because she was a child. And I don't even think it was necessarily like staunch, but it was just like, we don't need that.
We don't need that.
Need it.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
I got there was a
Even the hardcore Trump people aren't like, nobody's like really into Melania, are they?
I don't think so. She did that thing where she wore that jacket that was like, I don't care or whatever, I don't give a shit or whatever,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, I have the same jacket.
Yeah, you almost put it on today.
I'm wearing it under this, actually.
Yeah, I felt that.
I don't
with-
care.
Was Stu is dead. I was like, this guy's wearing it. I don't give a shit jacket. But
She's famous for that.
She was a hero for that for a little bit. 'Cause
She
it
was
like
also
after
a hero. There's a lot of people who don't like Trump. There's a lot of hero Melania moments where she like moves her hand out of
Yeah,
his
yeah,
and like
exactly.
is icy.
Yeah,
it's a
I see
weird
you
thing to
playing
be a
both
hero.
sides.
Well, me?
Yeah, you're trying to keep those views. You're like not trying to talk bad about
You know,
Melania.
not that anything's wrong with Melania.
Our former president's beautiful
The
ex-wife.
first lady.
Yeah,
Nobody. Where's the book?
yeah.
No book.
We didn't see her portrait either.
No portrait?
I didn't think so. At least I haven't looked at
They
it.
just framed the NDA that she
Yeah.
signed. Instead of a portrait of Melania in the White House, there's an NDA that she signed.
there was a thing. You know,
Framed.
Adam Pally.
I know Adam Pally.
Adam Pally did. I don't know if it was his company or somebody he was working with. But they did this thing called Donate, and they made a bunch of sweatshirts, and like you would pick one, and the Planned Parenthood one, if you paid like $30 for the sweatshirt, on the back had a picture of Melania Trump that she like paid. She did a modeling
Campaign?
I guess. What do you call it? Skit? I almost said
A little skit.
A little modeling
Put that
skit.
in one of your skits. Put this look in one of your skits. That's what her parents said.
She was on a private jet in a bikini with like a gold pistol, and she's holding out a gold pistol, and like that was the
Picture on the back
picture
of
on
a
the
Planned
back.
Parenthood
And
sweatshirt.
I would wear that sweatshirt, and people would come up to me all the time, and it's always like you can't tell a Trumpy person unless they're like wearing the hat, but you can
Sure.
always like smell them, you know.
Yeah,
You can
sure.
feel the Trumpies, and whenever they would
feel the
they're coming.
Not always true.
It's not
I'm
always
going
true.
for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Big fans, though. Big fans. He
Go
won
ahead.
the election. Um,
You go too far. I don't know. Go ahead.
but so many people would come up to me and be like, that sweatshirt's distasteful. That sweatshirt's... And that was my favorite thing to just be like, this is our first lady. This is
yeah, you show some respect.
this is our queen. Yeah. This
That's
is something she chose to do because this gives off the energy of what the White House is now.
hilarious. Now
Big boobies, guns.
And a golden gun.
Golden gun, like
Yeah.
a James Bond villain.
That was her KFC private jet photo.
Yeah.
When I think about that photo, it kind of makes me happy. It's just kind of like,
KFC, yeah.
nobody's been as happy as Trump biting into some KFC.
Somebody
I don't
said
think.
if it wasn't for the deaths and the awful stuff that Trump did, it would have been hilarious.
Yeah, people forget about the COVID mismanagement that led to so much.
So much. I mean, there was some locking kids up at the border.
Oh yeah.
A lot of that. I mean,
You're right. You're catching me being. I'm whitewashing it.
Yeah.
I don't just whitewash him. I whitewash everything. I'm just going around being like,
Yeah.
like doing my best to be
so
a happy
silly.
guy. But it is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this to somebody else that's like my age. I was born, pretty cool. And then 5 years later, 9/11, 4 years later, a recession, 8 years later, Trump, and then a pandemic.
Yeah, dude.
I've never had just like a chill 5-year stint.
Dude, I had so I was 22 when 9/11 happened. I had 22 rockin' years.
Wow. Of smoking in bars and stuff.
Yeah, like Bart Simpson. Just skateboarding around, smoking and eating veal, and just like high-fiving everyone.
Do you know
I do remember it pretty fondly. This is the danger. This is how you'll turn me into a conservative in my later years.
Yeah.
Because I'll get older and just a little bit like, and
Pre
I'll be like,
9/11.
remember that? And you'll be like, oh yeah. And then like I'll be voting for terrible things. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I won't, but I'm saying that is how they get you.
Yeah.
That's how they
I'm
get
feeding you goop through a spoon. And
Yeah.
You're like,
There you
just,
go.
"Well, and the Nazi.
Yeah. And then I'm a Nazi. Yeah.
People talk about pre 9/11.
Pre-9?
Because I wasn't like in an airport.
When were you born?
96. So I was
Okay.
5.
All right.
And it is like 9/11 is my first memory.
You remember it?
Like literally is my first memory. Yeah.
What do you? It's your number one.
Like I can't like
I have
predate.
to imagine that when 9/11 happened, you eating Play-Doh dissolved.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was like this is more. this is
Suddenly
more
my
important.
Lego towers I'm making are incredibly
In bad
distasteful.
Taste, yeah. Bad taste.
But-
so what are you seeing it on TV? Or?
I was in the second tower. And
That would be crazy.
That'd be crazy. And I got down the stairs.
I can't. This is a yes and I can't. I
I'm
can't.
doing it again.
Yeah.
No, I was just it was weird because my mom's family was in town, like my grandma was in town and she was staying with us. So like that was weird. You know, like the memories that you hold on to from when you're a kid are just the ones where something's out of place, like so many
yeah.
days blend together.
Yeah.
My grandma I woke up and my mom, who should have been at work,
So
and
if a
my
national
grandma.
tragedy wasn't enough, your grandma is also like putting the butter in the wrong part of the fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Grandma.
I also don't think if like I wouldn't have remembered it if 9/11 hadn't happened. So my grandma has 9/11 to thank a little bit. Because I
Oh,
wouldn't have remembered
yeah.
her visiting me when I was so young.
Okay.
If it wasn't for 9/11.
Okay.
But I just remember walking downstairs and like my parents or my mom and my grandma were like sobbing, crying, and I was at the top of the stairs and I looked on the TV and I was like, "This isn't Blue's Clues. This is
This
is
is
different."
happening.
Yeah.
What a tragedy. It
What
does,
what a tragedy.
I mean, obviously it is, and also for you is what I meant. That's a hard early memory.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it clicked. It wasn't like I looked at it and I was like, this will be a memory this is 9/11.
Yeah,
Like I just
they've
saw this.
awoken a sleeping giant. Joey? Little Joey?
Suddenly-
But your life has been, marked with a lot more tragedies.
There's just a lot of like big significant. I always feel like when people talk about the moments in American history where we were like prosperous and how the people in the 70s talk about like, oh, we just had sex, did drugs, and watched Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's all they had to worry about. And
Right.
there's always been like a little bit in the back of my head where like even in my 20s I was like fighting for civil rights,
Yeah.
like
But also, forgive me for sounding like an old person, but you also were raised with phones and the internet.
yeah, that's true.
When I think of my pre-9 time, like when 9/11 happened, I think I had a Nokia phone with
Really?
Snake on it. Like this is
Nice.
Yeah, I was in Chicago, so this is before I got my Palm Trio. I go by phones. Palm Trio, which was the coolest phone to have.
Is that the one that flips?
No,
flipped
it had a
out?
little keyboard.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It was and a stylus, which we thought was the best. And if you gave it 10 minutes, it could check your email.
Oh, really?
And if you had 45 free minutes, you could reply LOL.
You guys had it so well, so nice back
It's so
then.
quaint, but like there is a forced level of presence. Like, I mean, maybe you do. I'm assuming you do. When maybe you forgot your phone or you're just consciously not looking at your phone and you're in a boring situation, like
Yeah.
a delayed flight or traffic or a walk or whatever. And you just kind of like, for me, I realized like the key to so much is to just sink into what you're doing. And it's really hard to do that when you have your phone. And if you don't, you go like, oh my God, that's the answer. Well, it isn't because we did that for 22 years. I did that for 22 years and I wasn't Buddha.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So it's not a solution, but life was more vital.
There's a meme that goes around of like, it'll post a photo from, I'm not saying that cell phones were invented during 9/11, but pre 9/11 they'll be like, look at these people just living in the moment and not looking at their phones, enjoying, and then it'll be a picture of like everybody reading the newspaper on the subway. Or like everyone reading a book, or there was always.
We've been distracting ourselves. My big point is my family. Nobody was on their phone, but they were all stuck in the labyrinth of their brains. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you're talking to somebody and there's that's their fucking phone. That's what makes phones so offensive. Snake. They're playing Snake in their phone. Literally. I did on the ride down. I just caught myself. My brain was taking to task some nonsense. Like, what am I going to have for lunch? It might as well be. But it was grinding on that as if it was like deeply important. It was robbing me of the moment.
Yeah.
I wasn't enjoying or present or aware of anything.
That's what I try and I work on in therapy the most is I just want to be president. Because I also think I want to be president.
I want to be president.
Do it, therapist. But like it's I think especially for comedy, like I always feel like I'm not going to like the funniest I can be is when I am like present and confident and awashed of any. Yeah. The moment I'm second guessing myself, I'm getting fucked up with the timing and I'm not thinking. Yeah. And that's really hard to do.
Well, I think that's we've said this before, but like rock climbing, I know. Saying stand up is like rock climbing, but you're going from joke to joke and you could fall at any minute. So it like forces you. In the same way that I imagine gambling does, or watching a sporting game, or rock climbing, or surfing, or anything. Something that demands your attention is always going to make you feel really present. But also creating stand-up. I was thinking, like Van Gogh painted that chair, and it's just a fucking chair, right? It's a $20 chair, and now it's a priceless work of art. And it's because he actually saw it. We all know the quality of real seeing. It's almost like capital S seeing. When you can really look at a tree, it's the most amazing thing you've ever seen. So much so that if an artist really looks at a tree and paints it, it can become priceless. Yeah. So we're trying, comedy can come from a similar place where it's like, I had a moment of clarity when it comes to, and it could be some bullshit. It could be like the ball pit at McDonald's. It doesn't matter, but you were clear and looked at something honestly. It can also be written from the opposite, just the most cobwebby nonsense.
My favorite comedy, though, is the comedy that makes you just go like it's that common thought that everyone's had that nobody was able to like put into a sentence or figure out why they were thinking that way.
Yeah. Didn't you have that joke about back when Paul Rubens got scandalized for masturbating in a theater? What was your line? You said...
That's the second creepiest thing you can do in a porno theater. Number one being not masturbating.
Not masturbating. Yeah, I thought about that a lot. I was like, you know what might be number two isn't masturbating, is seeing someone masturbating and reporting them. Like, who goes into a porno theater and was like, oh yeah, this is fucking good. What are you doing? Like, that's what it is. It's a darkened, it like harkens back to like ancient Greece. Like, we still have these relics of ancient Greece where it's like, look, we don't have like orgies anymore, but there are dark theaters where you can jizz right on the ground. And everyone's fine with it.
It's so...
Unless...
Are there still those? I think it's because also there's a bunch
porno
of people...
theaters don't really happen anymore. I don't know why I looked at Katie. Katie,
you seem like a porno theater kind of gal.
Katie loves going to a good porno theater.
Also, they're called adult arcades, which like nowadays an adult arcade is just an arcade.
I'm just picturing a claw machine with dildos in it. That's all I'm picturing. I almost got it.
Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man together. If you win, they fuck.
Forget it. And the score is always 69. Okay. Look, you made me yes and it again. I'm stuck. I'm bound by law.
This one's cancel-less. You can't get canceled for talking about Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man.
And if you were, it would be worth it. You'd be like, he got taken down for a Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man 69 joke. It's fine. They can't 69. They're circles. They can only 8. Oh, that's hot. 8 action.
They can 8 in infinity, which is sleeping next to each other after they have sex.
They infinity each other.
Going back to
no. We're 9/11. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Real quick, run back to 9/11. Also love the art in here. Love all of this.
Thanks, man.
So cool.
You get to see that way.
I know. Not you guys, losers.
Not you guys. Sorry, suckers.
But what about, because when people talk about post 9/11, there's a lot of stuff that's not just airports that they talk about. Like they're like, oh, we used to smoke in bars and we could smoke inside.
Well,
and
I think
then
they're just
9/11
using,
happened.
Yeah, 9/11 had nothing to do with that.
Really? Okay, because up until this very moment when you said that,
you were now years old?
my head, they were like, and by the way, we're also going to stop smoking inside.
No.
And we're going to war.
After 9/11, I think the Patriot Act, a lot of those like surveillance things
Okay.
kind of got introduced. So this cultural understanding that even right now our phones might be listening to us, that is kind of a 9/11 phenomenon. That snowball started rolling down the hill
Yeah.
when 9/11, because that was when I remember the first people being like, I don't care if they listen to me because I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's valid in a certain sense, but it's people would be like, but that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And now, you grew up in a time where
It's always been like that.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
you're like, of course I'm being filmed. I'm at a child's lemonade stand. Of course I'm being photographed. Yeah.
Also, it's like I come from a world where I never felt like the opportunity to avoid that was given to me. Like, by the time I was like 10 years old, I had 3 email accounts to get into Neopets and Pokemon.com. And I'm not going to pretend that those websites aren't taking my information and doing stuff with it. It's just the way it was.
Well, that's also the Facebook of it all. It seems very folksy to be like, but they're selling our information.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what is the most modern application of this idea, and I'm guilty of it as well, is catch myself liking my Instagram ads because it knows what I like more than I know what I like. And that's kind of fucking weird,
isn't it?
It is, but I'm calling bullshit on myself because I can't even really tell you why I don't like that.
Yeah.
You used to have to sit through, like, I don't drink. I already referenced that earlier with the liquid death, but it's like, so I don't get alcohol ads. Nobody gets alcohol ads. I'm just saying, like, there was a time you'd be watching TV and there'd be a Budweiser ad and you'd just be like, this isn't for me. Not for me. Yeah. But now you get ads and it's just for you. And I can hear myself being like, isn't that better? But it does just sort of keep me in the temptation is to buy into the fallacy. That's right, the fallacy.
Wow. Saying so many like philosophical stuff today.
Oh, to camera. That buying stuff will make you happy, and it doesn't. But
I know. I'm a part of that, though. I love.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
See, okay, this is going back to the 80s when we started calling people bums. Or like the Big Lebowski. He's a loser because he's not a consumer.
Yeah.
He's not buying anything other than fucking vodka and Kahlua and a little bit of cream.
Gross. I remember when I was like 21, I was like, 1 White Russian, please. And I was like, and no, thank you. So take it back.
You want a sombrero. That's just cream and Kahlua. There's no vodka.
That's disgusting.
No, just drink it. That's what you are. You're that kind of guy.
That guy. What is it? A sombrero?
Yeah.
1 sombrero, please.
A sombrero is the official drink of the post-Bible study ladies' night. A couple sombreros.
That's you to a T. You're
Me?
a post-Bible studies ladies' night kind of guy.
I would love to be sipping sombreros with a bunch of ladies. Actually, I wouldn't. I feel like that would get really weird.
Yeah.
If we could have a no theology agreement.
Yeah. Yeah,
that would be fine.
Post Bible study, we've done enough talking about God.
We got it out of our system.
Let's talk about.
Because as much as I love talking about God, it can freak me out pretty easily.
Yeah.
When somebody believes something that I think is atrocious, and they believe it real, but it's like their identity.
Yeah.
It's like politics. It's, you know what I mean? It's like there are certain areas that you don't talk about because you're actually it's been blurred.
Yeah.
Your opinion and who you are has become one thing.
Especially
you were
now.
saying, Trumpers, even that is a temptation to go like, if they voted this, look, I'm not trying to get both sides of the aisle to listen to the podcast. I'm just saying, well, snowflake. I could have said snowflakes or whatever.
Yeah, snowflake is good.
Snowflake is okay because those fall from the sky.
Yeah, I know they call it snowflakes. Oh, I'm so sorry. The things that are all unique, beautiful, and gorgeous, and like
and melt.
Phenomenon and melt.
And melt so
melt right
easy,
away.
Man.
Unless it's really cold.
I wouldn't want a bunch of snowflakes running the country. I mean literal snowflakes. Because even if they have great ideas, if it gets like
all the
40 degrees in there,
they get wet. Can't have snowflakes run the country. They don't have thoughts.
We're believing We're taking that insult too far. Anyway, but buying, the dude, right? Have you seen The Big Lebowski?
Yeah, of course.
So the first thing he does is, the first time you meet him is he's buying cream and he writes a check. And that's like this big, and I agree, it's hilarious. Look at this idiot. He doesn't even have, it's like a check for 19 cents or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his problem, is he's not buying into the consumeristic model.
And he wears a
saying,
robe outside.
Well, have you heard that statistic? If they stopped making clothes, it would be fine. Like, we have enough clothes. Have you heard that?
No, but
we
it's
don't
so
need any more
true.
clothes. We also don't need any more furniture.
Yeah, we're good.
Or I don't know about other industries, so I won't bring them in.
You're so worried about alienating like people that make couches.
The car industry.
Oh, the United Auto Workers on strike.
Are they?
Yeah, as of 2 days ago.
Are we still?
SAG is. Writers.
Do you think SAG will end?
I don't know. Part
Now
of me
that
thinks
WGA ends?
Part of me thinks that we're just gonna like
Keep going?
no, that we're gonna do the opposite. That we're just gonna be like, well, our friends are going back to work, but I don't know.
And they'll go back to work too.
We're asking for completely different things.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think it has to be,
optimistic.
once it's in the ether, strikes ending. I
Yeah.
think we're that simple. I think
Yeah,
the
right?
people that are withholding, they'll go like, well, strikes are ending, even though it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the wind.
Strike summer. It's fall now because it was the first day of, or the 22nd was the first day of fall. So it's like it does feel like we're like, whoa, it's
I
pumpkin
think it's
spice
seasonal.
season.
I think it's seasonal.
Yeah.
I think so much is going on that has just, I'm not talking like you could plan scientifically, but like every year around this time, both Val and I become very productive.
Yeah.
It's almost like Val said, she was like, it's almost like the leaves know they're going to die, so they burst and get red and green and orange and all that. Not green,
That's
but orange.
beautiful.
So it's almost like we're the same way. It's like the year's ending, and like you
Yeah.
have this burst of creativity.
Huh. I also like, sorry
No.
to interrupt you, but
No,
I
no.
also like to like you were touching on that it's just like we're just over it kind of. I like to think that the writers ended the strike not because the contract was good, but because they didn't want to explain to their family at Thanksgiving why they were striking and why it was still going.
Joey, I'm going to say in the recesses of our brain, in the annals of history, that's a consideration. Everyone at the table is going like, I can't have Thanksgiving be.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the strike? My dad has asked me several times, does the strike affect you? And I've just been like, I feel like we've talked about this, but it doesn't matter.
Kinda.
Let's talk a little bit about how you and I know each other. We're already like 90 hours in.
Are we? Yeah, this is going by so fast. My palms. I also
It's
drank
over.
coffee before this, so if I'm coming across, it's
Can
like,
you what?
What?
Can you coffee?
I said I drank coffee before this, and I don't really drink coffee. I was sitting in my car drinking the coffee going, this is a drug. I'm doing a drug, and I've decided to do a drug for the first time in a while
Do drugs.
before being on camera.
Just kidding. I just look at you and go,
Do the good drugs.
Do drugs.
The clean ones.
No, coffee is.
Coffee's a
Coffee
drug.
used to be considered a hallucinogen.
Really?
Yeah.
I see that.
There were people that stayed up all night drinking coffee. This is in Michael Pollan's book. It's like they were like considered insane.
I mean, I think
The people that drank coffee.
Coffee's like more powerful than weed is.
Of course it is.
Yeah. So like, why is it? So many people are like, I'm not myself until I've had my cup of coffee. No one's like,
because you're in withdrawal.
yeah, exactly.
But I say this,
So you're
look,
a drug
I've
addict.
quit everything, and I'm like, it doesn't matter when, I quit coffee just to see if I could do it, and then I was like, you gotta have something.
Yeah.
You just gotta have something.
Papa needs his vices.
Stand-up's a drug too. It's all
It is, yeah.
chemical things that sex can be a drug. Everything's a drug.
Yeah.
Meaning, if there's something outside of you that causes an internal reaction, it can be drugified, I suppose.
Yeah. Cocaine is a drug.
Well, I don't think that's true.
Okay. Yeah. I knew I was overstepping.
Just watch yourself.
You knew so much she is in New York.
It's natural. It's derived from
naturally.
the coca leaf. So you're really putting down the economies. South America.
That's
I think
true.
what you're saying is very slanderous.
So their whole
But I'll
economy
thank you to
is
leave.
based on cocaine, Pete.
I didn't say that. That's on the back of their money. It's all cocaine. But it's, no, I'm just kidding. All right. So you and I have a unique history.
Yeah.
And why don't you go?
Me go?
You started stand-up when you were 9?
I was 13.
13.
I actually went back and found the messages that I had sent you.
How
The
was this
messages-
on
Facebook?
MySpace?
Yeah.
Facebook.
It was
Katie, would you
2000.
turn on the AC,
It
actually?
was 2000. Do I look
Thank you very much.
schwitzy? Oh, you have like storage up there.
You got a little shimmer.
Yeah.
But it's really
always
more
doing- I'm
for
also-
me.
I wore like this sweater shirt.
It's nice.
It's nice,
It's
right?
not quite a cardigan. It's not quite a shirt.
Yeah, exactly. A little in between.
A shirtigan.
Yeah. You say we should stop making clothes. Now we should stop making
I didn't
clothes.
say we should. I said we could.
Do you know who should stop making clothes? Little kids in Asia.
Speed agree.
Yeah, speed agree. That's progressive, baby.
You take no persuasion on that one. Go on.
Yes, and so I was like 13. I want to read the message too.
Go ahead. I can't wait.
It made me cringe so.
I can't wait.
I went back yesterday and
Here's
I was
the
like,
other clip. Joe, here's the other social clip. Joey Bragg reads email. I can't wait.
It was because I was 13 and you were like my favorite comic at the time, and I
Good to know I've been usurped.
yeah, at the time.
Good to know.
At the time. Now it's me.
There you go.
But yeah, self-confidence,
Attaboy.
baby. You taught me well.
Attaboy. Yeah, exactly.
But I saw the movie Funny People, the Judd Apatow movie, Your Good Friend.
Yeah.
And I was like 12 or 13, and I was like, I'm such a big comedy fan. I didn't realize what like went into it. And then
you saw the movie.
Then I saw the movie, and I get like, oh, it's writing, and it's this whole thing, and I was just probably an undiagnosed kid with ADHD that was just hyperfixated on it. And I didn't know like the logistics of starting or like how, like, I'm not just like going to go to a family reunion and ask for 5 minutes. Like I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I sent you, I'm going to read it now because
I can't wait.
By
the way, my movie, same experience was Comedian, the movie Comedian.
Oh, really?
I was like, they're just, you take something you said at dinner.
Yeah. And
then you expand on it, and then you say it to strangers and pretend you were thinking of it just then.
Yeah, right?
Stand-up comedy.
It's great. It's so easy. Let me find, and then, this is a whole nother level of like cringe for me because
I can't wait.
I went back and I read like other messages that I had sent, and at the same time I had like
To other comedians?
to other comedians, but also like right before that I broke up with my middle school girlfriend in like the chat, like right after you messaged me back, I was like, hit the big leagues. Gotta break up with my middle school girlfriend.
Oh my God, you big timed her.
Yeah, I big timed her.
Oh, no more.
So on November 8th, it's almost our anniversary. November 8th.
Our anniversary, November 8th.
November 8th, 2009.
Dude, actually, okay, look, I'm not forcing it. I'm just saying you wrote me in November, which Val and I have agreed.
Yeah.
It's a very like forward moving,
Creative.
fertile, like create, expand, give.
It is. It's very true.
It's true.
I said, Dear Pete, very formal.
Very nice.
My name is Joey, and I am a 13-year-old aspiring comedian. I have been writing jokes for several months, but I have been telling jokes my whole life. Smart.
Not bad.
Recently, I've been trying to find out how to get started, but being only 13, I don't know of any comedy clubs that will let me perform. You are my favorite comedian. I first saw you on College Humor, and you have made me laugh my ass off ever since.
Ooh, ass, letting me know.
I'm
down
cool.
for grown-up talk.
I'm cool. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, dude.
Don't be
Give me
wigged
the
out.
straight shit,
Because
man.
also I read some of the messages, and I don't know who replied because some of it just says Facebook user. They deleted their Facebook. I sent like a very similar message to somebody.
Copy and paste.
And I got back you're scaring me. From somebody named Eddie. So it's either Eddie Ift or Eddie Pepitone, but regardless, I freaked him out.
I bet it was Ift.
Yeah, probably.
Eddie would have been like, oh, God, stay away. I don't know what.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The pep.
Little pep.
I said, I live in San Francisco, California, and I would really love for you to help me. And if you have any advice, I would love to hear it. I promise I'm not one of those kids who makes it all up as I go along. I really hope you can help. Sincerely, Joey Bragg. P.S. If you do read this, please accept this friend request, and I will send you some of my jokes so you could look them over.
I don't have any cringe here.
Really?
I think that's great.
I think it's more my grammar and my inability to capitalize the letter I.
No.
And then
the non-capital I lets me know that you're a cool dude.
Yeah? Sick.
Yeah.
It's
You're
off the
keeping it
cuff.
cash.
Keeping it cash.
I think for a 13-year-old, that was exceptional.
Really?
And I remember reading it.
Really?
As you read that, I was like, yeah, there's a certain mood. I wish I was in that mood all the time. It's just like the heart space.
Yeah,
and you're just
right?
kind of probably not too stressed, not too busy, checking out some fucking email requests.
Yeah.
I love this me.
I know. I love this. Honestly, that's what when I contacted you, I was like thinking about it from a position I'm in now, where not that I get messages like this all the time, but I get some along the same
I'm
lines.
sure you do.
Block them immediately.
Yeah,
I don't fucking
insta-block.
respond. Yeah, instantly. Get out of my You're clogging up all the space for my hose.
Sometimes it can get a little weird. That's only happened maybe once or twice in my career. So some people are guarded. Like, for example, if you went up to Amy Schumer and said that to her,
Yeah.
and she dismissed you politely, I would understand that because I think the bigger you get, the crazier things get.
Yeah, right.
But you reached me at a nice time.
Yeah.
And I'm not at that level now.
I think, I mean, I think this was before your Comedy Central Presents. I think like,
Oh,
so it was
pre-presents.
because then, because you're
What year?
2009? Was that pre-presents?
No, I had done my presents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
2009. I got divorced in 2000. See, you go by 9/11. I go by my divorce. In 2007,
I go by 9/11.
I got divorced. 2009, I had done my Comedy Central presents. Or I was about to do it.
They were
maybe.
this was around the time when they had just like refurbished Comedy Central Presents.
I'm gonna trust you. I think I'm about to do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this was before, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're right.
Then you replied November 10th, the next day, which is huge.
Next day delivery.
Yeah, my
I
best
primed
friends.
you.
Yeah, you did prime me. Jeffrey Bezos, baby. You said, and your grammar and like capitalism, it's great. You're
It's
perfect.
great.
You took time with this, which
I
was
took
like
time.
You
I
said,
like that I separated the paragraphs with.
And in my head, this was like 5 pages long.
Of
like
course.
in my memory, and I look at it, and you just maybe took you 15 minutes, but changed my whole life.
I love
Look
it.
at us.
I like this.
You said, "Hey Joey, I think it's great."
Can you run that part where I said I changed his life?
Yeah,
Like,
replay that
echo
part.
it like
and
a
then
vine.
bookend it with Zionism.
Nope.
You said, "Hey Joey, I think it's great that you've decided to do comedy. The best thing you can do is perform as much as you can and watch as much as you can. TV specials, CDs, anything you can watch and study and learn from. Then find an open mic at a coffee shop or somewhere you don't have to be 21 and give it a try. I think you'll have a blast. If all else fails, you can do your own show somewhere. See if your parents or someone you know will help you set up an open mic for you and your friends to do some music, comedy, etc. There are no other opportunities. Create some of your own. Starting early is great. Best of luck, Pete."
Well,
Right?
it's weird that I agree with my own advice. No, it's not. I'm like, yeah, that's right on. And what did you do?
I went up at a coffee shop in San Jose at Phil's Coffee. I messaged you after like updates, and then you got to the point where you stopped responding as much, and then that's where the cringe really starts for me because I'm like, I know you haven't responded in a while. I just want to let you know, like that's too much for me to even read back.
Well, I hate it too.
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean is it was this little moment of being free and clear and open-hearted.
Yeah.
And then you get lost in your own stuff, and then I'm probably not even looking. It's not like I'm seeing
not blaming.
these.
Also,
No, I
you
don't.
did respond a bunch of times. Like we
Oh, okay.
had a
back and forth.
tete-a-tete.
Then I remember meeting you and your dad at Meltdown, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Was it Meltdown or I can't? Yeah, because we did. Yeah, I think we met at Meltdown, and then you also invited me to. You were warm up for the Dimitri Martin show. This was in
you
San
came to that?
Francisco, and I came to that. Yeah.
That's so
I was like,
wild.
also cringy reading those messages because you were like, I'm not sure we can get in after under 18. And then instead of me being like, totally understand, just let me know, which would have been the cool response, I was like, well, maybe tell them I'm your son or tell them that I'm your close family. There's got to be something we can do. And like, buddy, tone it down.
No, that's good creative intelligence, though, because if you were my son, you could come.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to be like, get your fucking son out of here.
And I would have done such a good job pretending to be your son.
Yeah. This is my son.
Papa.
Yeah.
Big, funny Papa.
You're wearing like Swedish pajamas.
Yeah, a little spinny.
Yeah.
hat with the feather
A
out.
big lolly. A big lollipop. I
But
think is what
honestly,
we
like you say it like you were in this moment, but that and when I reached out to you because I told this story on like another podcast, I would not have the career and life that I have right now if you hadn't sent that.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
I mean, I know you could say, "Oh, good on me." It's just crazy that that's how the world works. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
right?
That like you throw something into a tornado
Yeah.
as to whether or not a group of people Eddie if'd. I mean, thanks for nothing, Eddie.
Eddie, yeah.
Just kidding.
I also read TJ Miller's reply.
What was
his? His was like, "Are you doing comedy for real?" Like,
That's what he wrote?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
He was like, "Yeah, it wasn't terrible."
Getting back to you.
Yeah, he was getting back to me. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody, like, I look
People
back.
were nice.
The
Okay.
people that I loved back then were the people that were just on the come up. Like,
Okay, that's brilliant.
yeah,
I love that. You weren't framing it as advice, but like for people, young people, whoever, don't go to fucking Kevin Hart.
yeah, exactly.
That's a waste of time.
Yeah.
In fact, I would think that's a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're like, he won't get back to you. So
Yeah.
you're like, but at least it's like buying a book on stand-up comedy instead of doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
do both. You get
Yeah.
the book, but also don't delude yourself that writing the email to Kevin Hart you're like, well, now the ball's in his court.
Yeah.
Why not just have the courage to say, I'm too scared to do it?
Yeah.
Well, which I understand.
Also,
why.
there's a big part of that I understand now. Like when somebody reaches out to you and they're like, you're doing something I would like to do, and I would love to pick your ear about what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love to talk about myself and to somebody that is impressed by what I do.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's great.
That's why, look, ego aside, it is nice to say you're my favorite comedian. That helps. Sometimes you get the feeling that they're just saying that. Like, because I do get emails like this. I always try to reply, and they almost always say you're my favorite, and you're like,
Okay,
but then like later in the email, it accidentally calls you Kevin. Like, oh, didn't do quite the full search.
Yeah,
and
you get a
replace,
gun
did
with
ya?
me, Kumail, and John Mulaney. Who are you shooting? They're gonna shoot you.
So funny. But that's good advice. Again, like saying you should pretend to be my son. It's a type of creative intelligence to go like, I'm going to find. It's like trading stocks, right? And managers do this too. You can't go and sign Kevin Hart, but you can sign the guys that just had a half hour.
And it got to the point where like a few years after that, or maybe it was like three or 4 years, I did my first show at the Hollywood Improv.
Wow.
And you were on the late show, and I was at the 8 p.m. show.
Wow.
And like I just remember like going up to you, and we were just talking. It was the coolest thing because it went
great.
from like this thing I aspired to do to like legitimacy. Like that was the main thing, and that's still. I mean, mental health problems that it did cause for me, like being so young, and then
What do you mean?
just I went from being 13. I did comedy for like 4 years, like every night. I wanted to do what everybody was doing. I wanted to like grind it out.
Yeah.
And then I got a Disney Channel show, and it just they couldn't be more polar opposite in the way that they treat you as the talent.
Oh, really?
Going from like a world of stand up and then to Disney, like in Disney Channel, when you're on a show, you can attest, everyone is nice to you to a fault. Like they are so. My mom calls it my period of being a prince. She's like, well, that's when you were a prince. Because
You're prince years.
Because there's so many times that like I didn't understand.
I can't imagine showing a child that level of attention.
Yeah.
It makes a birthday party look like a fart.
Are you kidding? I mean, there's so many aspects of it, and I'm a big proponent now for if you're young and if you're doing a show on the Disney Channel or Nickelodeon, I really do think that they should have a therapist on set for those kids.
Yeah.
Because there's like, I mean, I was in a really dark place. I think just creatively, I was doing stand-up for like 4 years, and that's what I wanted to do. Then I did this other Disney pilot that ended up not going, and so I went down to LA, and then I had to come back, and my stand-up took a hit because I was focusing on this show, and then I was like...
The disappointment.
Yeah, and the disappointment, and I just got put in this like dark place.
This was your first show? Like you had never been on a show, I got cast in a pilot, it didn't go, and then you couldn't, I mean, understandably, you couldn't handle that.
Yeah, and it sounds so stupid now because now it's just like that's the rejection we're all getting used to.
No, I don't think it sounds stupid. I don't even think you have to say that. It's devastating, especially at that age.
Yeah.
You're about to go to space camp.
Also, I'm pretty sure I was like, I'm going to Hollywood, bitches.
Of course. Yeah, no. And you'd be dumb not to. That's what being a child is.
Yeah.
You want to like skateboard out of the class and be like, kiss my ass or whatever. Yeah. You want to be special. In fact, I just saw Dr. Huberman talking about the word maybe neurologically to a child. Almost makes no sense. This is me paraphrasing it.
Yeah.
So he's making the argument that when Leela, my daughter, asked me to get ice cream, I'll say yes or no, but I used to say maybe. And maybe, dopaminically speaking, gives... And it's crazy that this is how the brain works and that they can measure this, gives the brain a chemical sensation that a reward is coming.
Yeah.
And so you have a pilot, so fuck ice cream, you're getting like my whole life.
Yeah.
And all of and let's be real, 13 years old, most of your life is disrespect. That's everybody.
Yeah.
That's the popular kids and
I was probably like 17 or 16.
Okay, right.
16 when that happened.
That whole time.
Yeah.
I'm saying like pre-30.
Oh, yeah.
You're still
right
in
now,
it. You're still in it.
Honestly, though, for real, I'm
no, you
still
are.
in it. Yeah.
There's no time, and I can still. I'm happy to say that I'm 44 now, and it does get better.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm near dead.
Jesus Christ.
Zoom, 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 zoom. Dead.
Halfway to 88.
But I know.
You'll go back to the future.
88 keys on a piano. I'm half a piano.
Oh my God, look at you.
I'm half a piano.
What half? The low half or the high half?
I want to be the low
Of
half.
course. Your latter 44 years are going to be.
Actually, Joey, riff aside, I think your later years, and then your last year is that too high key. It's like hollow.
It's sticking a little bit. Yeah.
That's your last year. But like when you're born, it's like, it's beautiful and resonant.
Gorgeous and little fat baby.
Great riff.
Great riff. Look at this. Put
Great riff.
that on the TikTok and smoke it.
Put that on the TikTok and monetize it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you?
But like you were like
Modern mammals. I was trying to think of one.
This episode is brought to us by our friends at Ritual Multivitamin and their pre-post probiotic, both of which I take every single day. It was a normal thing that I would go to the doctor and they would just be like, you're deficient in like 9 different vitamins. And Ritual has you covered. It has all of that stuff that no longer happens to me because I'm filling the gaps that I might be getting, should be getting from nutrition, but it's just not in our food. So I supplement it with Ritual and it makes it a huge difference. I feel ready to start my day and it's traceable. So look, you can talk fantasy football with your friends all day, but asking them for health advice is not really the move. Ritual takes the guesswork out of the vitamin game. Their multivitamin is based on science to help fill, as I mentioned, common nutrient gaps in your diet and level up your nutrient goals. It is an all-around win. Scientifically developed with key ingredients in clean, bioavailable forms. Ritual is a new type of 2-a-day helping you with omega-3 DHA to normal muscle function and normal immune function with vitamin D3. This small step can make a major impact. That has certainly been true for me. As I mentioned, it's traceable. Where your nutrients come from is just as important as what they're for. It's vegan-friendly, non-GMO, sugar-free, gluten-free, major allergen-free, and their capsule is delayed release. So most people are like, I would take a multivitamin, but I know I'm just peeing it out. This is the difference. Ritual waits until it's in your lower intestine to break down where it can actually be absorbed. So you're not just going to be peeing out bright yellow pee and you're like, well, there goes my vitamin. It gets into your system, so it's completely different. I understand the hesitation, but Ritual has fixed that problem. Plus, they're a pleasure to take because they have a minty essence on every bottle to keep things fresh and make taking your multi or your prebiotic or probiotic. It's called Symbiotic Plus. It's all 3 in 1. It's a pleasure. So, Essential for Men and their Symbiotic Plus is a quality multivitamin and a pre-post probiotic that I take every single day. And get this, Ritual is offering weirdos 30% off your first month. 30%. So visit ritual.com/weird to start Ritual or add Essential for Men to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/weird. All right, everybody, back to Joey.
But you're so right about like when I was at that point in my like, not that I've ever thought about it like a maybe doesn't click or I don't understand
your
what
brain
that means.
doesn't understand maybe is the
But
point,
then
yeah.
when something that doesn't go, and not that I resented, like I love that I started doing stand up in San Francisco. Like I did it there for 5 or 6 years, and I know those people, and they're still the people that I see. A lot of them live down here now, and so there's like a real sense of community, and I love that. But there was also a part of me that was like, oh, I went down there in LA. I was doing it like, Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, Hollywood Improv, and then probably didn't get picked up, and I'm not going to live there anymore. And now I'm back to like, the Sunday showcase at the Punchline and begging for hosting gigs and stuff. And so
that's hard.
there was a big part of me that was like, I sacrificed like what normal teenage lives are. A lot of like, I wasn't doing any extracurriculars because I was doing stand-up every night. And I had friends, but I didn't like have those like high school
Classics.
to the classic John Hughesy moments.
Things,
because as soon as the bell rings, I'm doing my homework because I have I'm featuring for somebody at the Punchline or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when that pilot didn't go and I was back, I was like, oh, I sacrificed all of this for nothing.
Right.
And I just ruined my life. Like I'm incapable of doing anything. I had gotten to a point like, this is like the details of it, but I just was really depressed, as a lot of teenagers are when there's so many hormones going on. So I stopped going to school and like got in this really dark place.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Just stopped going?
I just stopped going.
Did your parents know?
No.
You just didn't go.
Lie, 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 lie.
That song is about not going to school.
It is.
So you would get up in the morning, they'd drop
I'd get
you
up
at
in the morning.
school?
No, they're public school teachers, so they would leave before me, and I'd be like, off to school I go. You guys have a good day. And then I would watch the Today Show all day long and cry. And
Oh, no.
yeah, it was like real depression. Like I didn't know that it was real depression at the time.
Yeah.
And then I think about it, and like so many things that happened to me where I slough it off as like, oh, and then this comedian was mean to me, and then I think back, I'm like, wait, I was a little boy, and that's like life-altering
happened?
trauma.
Who did it? You don't even have to say, but like, what happened?
I have countless stories of like, I still, when you were saying that you get in a place where you're at this age and you're like trying so hard for respect and validation, like I'm still in that because I chose a job where everybody was going to resent me until I was their age. And even when I was their age, they were going to resent me because I started earlier than them or whatever.
Wait, I'm not sure I understand. You chose a job, stand-up comedy?
Stand-up comedy.
That you feel like everybody resents you because you started earlier?
Because I feel like there was this, maybe I'm so sure most of it was internally, perpetuated, but there's this undercurrent of he's getting these opportunities that I want and he's only getting them because he's young and cute and, it's a gimmick.
Right.
And so that like being the beginning of my career.
Like you cheated.
Yeah, like I cheated. Yeah, exactly.
When you're over here, like, I just put my whole junior high experience into a wood chipper.
Yeah.
And how is that cheating?
And it happened like at the Punchline in San Francisco when I was like 16 or 17. There was you do the Sunday showcase, and it's kind of like how the Comedy Store or Laugh Factory works. Like you go there every Sunday, and then when Molly, the booker, sees you've been there for every Sunday for like a year, then she'll come up behind you and say, you have 7 minutes after Sean Keane or whatever. And that was like the biggest moment for me. And
so just by being there, you get
just
booked?
you hang out. Well, it's like you have 7 minutes. It's like a showcase. It's virtually an open mic, and the only way to get on the open mic is hang out there for a year. It's like one of those things. A lot of comedy clubs do it, where they like, we want to see that you're serious about it or whatever.
It's a due-paying.
It's
like kung
exactly.
fu. You have to sleep outside the temple.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like I did that. I felt like I paid my dues, and I did it. And I went up on stage, and I don't even remember how the set was because I immediately got off stage, and all these people that I was like actively wanting to respect me and wanting them to just tell me I was funny or think that I deserved to be up there. I walked outside, and I heard like 3 conversations all saying the exact same thing, which is he got up there because he's young and he does that stupid shtick, or his dad writes all his jokes. And it shaped how I am as a comic still to this day.
As we shoot it, the camera's going to be swirling around you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rich soundscape of hate. Buddy, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And what's
You did this to
interesting...
me.
No, you're just... yeah, it's my fault. Yeah, that's why Eddie F. didn't reply to you. He was smart.
He was saving
He
me.
was smart. Or Eddie Pepitone. Or Eddie Van Halen. It could have been him. We don't know.
Eddie Van Halen.
No, I remember... Look, what's interesting about your age... There is like a hater's gonna hate sort of thing. But what's unfair about show business is what's unfair, not in its entirety, but it can be what's unfair about life, right? So somebody gets booked because they're good looking, or somebody gets booked because you see it in movies and stuff. I'm sure you've seen the movie The Hollywood Complex. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Remember, there's like, you gotta be a type, right? So it's not like the classically Tom Cruise looking kid that's going to get booked. They already have 9 of those every audition. You want to be like the oddly shaped, and what I mean is differently shaped. I'm not trying to be funny. You want to have a look. You want to look more like going somewhere, Mr. Potter. Like you want that kid.
Yeah.
Or you want. You see what I'm saying? You want to be unique in any way.
Yeah.
So we're in this business that favors uniqueness. And it's like that's not fair, and it's not fair.
Yeah.
So you are young, and you selected to go out there because everyone's like, "What's this going to be?" Yeah, in the same way that any outlying quality would be rewarded.
Yeah.
So when people are what they're doing is they're scapegoating you on the unfairness, and just to have some solidarity with you, I remember when I went to New York. And it's not the same. I'm just, again, looking for common ground here. I vividly remember I got on Premium Blend, it was called. That's like the 5 or 6 minute Comedy Central set.
Remember?
Okay.
Big fan.
Well,
Not yours.
No, mine was bad. It was cut down from 7 minutes to 3 minutes.
Really?
It was so bad. Anyway, but I remember somebody at the bar at Rafifi saying, I think they said it to me, and it hurt my feelings. Like every program that I'm running now I'm supposed to be like, and it wasn't a big deal, but it was. They said like, oh, that's fair. You've been here, what, 10 minutes? And what you're hearing is like, this person has been grinding it in New York for a long time. I had just moved.
Yeah.
And look at that. Even my newness to the scene, even though I was 20-something, 25, 24, my newness to the scene was a commodity. Why is that fair? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not fair. But that's how we work, just in the same way that the seasons and when you email me, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Your age isn't fair. My having just arrived from Chicago isn't fair. And then you go up and you followed it through, though. What you did on stage is as close as we can come to some sort of fairness.
It's I find myself still like openly seeking that validation from the people that are like, oh, you've been here, what, a day? Like I have those, that dialogue in my head, and I'm always just like, I'm going to go up there and prove them that I deserve it.
Because they established... Look, none of it is real. And I don't even mean that like in a woo-woo metaphysics way. I mean, we create the meaning. We create the scene. We create the validation. So then you enter into the system that is humming with those precepts. Yeah. Of course you would go for it and look for it. That's what the game is, sort of. Like, I don't know if you can succeed in stand-up deeply not caring what your peers think about you when you're starting. I don't know.
It seems like
I think you should.
So
the
many
people you admire.
At least there's. I mean, I think it negatively affects my job on stage when I do that, and it's something that I'm like actively trying to deconstruct in therapy. Like I was telling you earlier, like so many things that happened to me where I'm like, I didn't realize that this was more significant. Like more significant than just this is a silly story with me and this other comedian. And then I think about it, and I've been thinking about it for so long that I've like misshapen the memory to be something that is silly. And then I look at it again and I realize,
it's horrible,
yeah, it's something
that was a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
and you're good to have those.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them, baby.
You gots
to.
Well, I'm gonna say you do gots to. And what's very childish, and I'm not saying that as a negative thing, is that you did your set and then you walked onto the patio.
Yeah, because I was like,
you thought,
respect me now is what I thought.
Yeah,
like,
you thought I did it.
And
now I'm going to go mingle.
Revel with the people that I want to be my friends.
And they will like me now.
Yeah.
And what the modern you and what I would do is do your set, I'll go ahead and assume that they did like it. And I'm not going to necessarily go around and take a survey.
Yeah.
Because that's only going to go back. Because
take a survey.
Like, okay, so like, I talk about Byron Katie's The Work a lot. So they didn't like my set. Is that true? Like, can they even know what they thought about it? Can they see past all of the pain of the rejection that they weren't chosen, all of the pain that they didn't start when they were young, all of the pain that their dad, take the phrase, his dad writes his jokes for him, all of the pain that their dad didn't care about them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no one there saw your set. You know what I'm saying? If there are that many veils between you and watching, you can't see it. It's like, even when you say like, they're mad at me, can you even know that? Like, can you know anything? You just go like, I don't know what's going on inside another person. And then you get some of that good, solid, like, I'm only responsible for what I do on stage.
Yeah.
But
you're so right, though, that they're like, I don't think about, even from the age I am now, which is like, 13, 14 years removed from that, I have a really hard time. But you're so right that they're not.
Yeah, they didn't see it.
There are, and it's the winning over somebody that already dislikes you thing. Like,
right. You can, I think human beings have a deep need to be, and I don't mean this in big victim. I'm just talking about little victims. Like, we like the slights. We live for, it's like eating a Sour Patch Kid. Like, we like the sour of like, fuck that kid. Because we're alive, and now I can use it to kind of bond with these other comics. And we're all just kind of doing the same thing, but it's lazy, and it's easy, and it's hating on it. well, you know, I've said this a million times, but like the people that said that about me, like, oh, that's fair, you've been here, what, a week? They're not doing comedy anymore.
Yeah.
And I bet a lot of the people that were shitting on you aren't doing comedy anymore.
Yeah.
It was just, it's too corrosive and it's too ugly and it's too damaging. Not that you asked, but the advice that I give a lot of young people is like, you gotta surround yourself with people that are kind of have some blinders up to that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just joining like a piss and moan club.
Yeah. Which
and a beer drinking club. It's like it's an alcohol abuse, piss and moan after school club where you can talk about how unfair things are, instead of going like, yeah, I'm jealous that he is young. I'm jealous that his dad is supporting him. I'm jealous that he has something special. Like I remember somebody asking me like, what is your thing? This is when I was like, this is after my presents and all that stuff, my half-hour special. Someone was just like, I just don't know who you are. Like, what are you? And at least you could go, I'm young.
Yeah. I'm the little boy one.
Yeah, I'm the little boy one. Like, we can either spend our time and our energy, better than time, being mad that you inherited a thing just by virtue of being young. In the same way you could inherit a thing because you're half cyborg. Or we can just go like, okay, what makes me unique? Because I think I'm very unique, but I didn't figure that out until I was, I don't know, literally like 33. I started going like, oh.
Yeah, this is it.
This is my family. It's weird that I'm this. It's weird that I was this, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know. And I think instead of hating on somebody for having an easier time finding their thing, and a temporary thing, which is your youth, we should use that energy to find what makes us unique.
I also think it's like a comedian's mindset to, I'm not where they are because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not getting the opportunities they are because of this.
It's too hard. Dude, I always say this, but on the show alone where people go,
always brought up the classic.
I know, I can't.
You do
stop,
so much advertising for
stop bringing up Alone. But it's always the men. The women that tap out usually go, it was hard. I couldn't do it. I had to leave. I was dying. The men are always like, I realized it was stupid. What am I doing here? This is stupid. It's because no one modeled to a lot of men and to a lot of people in general vulnerability and what it's like to say, I'm feeling envious or I'm feeling jealous. I don't know where I am. I don't know my identity. I don't know what makes me special. If she said I have 7 minutes, I don't know what I would do. I'm just doing the same shit as whatever. And that's too hard to look at that honestly. So it's so much easier. That's why I say scapegoat. You just scapegoat I scapegoated disease. Everybody was like, I know I bring this up a million, but like that was on offer at the scene when I was coming up. He was young. And everything that he had going on, people were like, well, if I was, some 40-year-old, white guy would be like, I can't compete. Yeah, you can't compete with that, but there's a million other ways that you can shine and
it's different.
And none of them come from you talking shit. All that comes from you talking shit is death. Is the end of your comedy.
I think about another Judd Apatow film, The Bubble, when Keegan-Michael Key is doing that TikTok with Iris Apatow. Yeah. And it's something that I feel like is the most relatable, especially to and more than just comedians, but like actors. When he does that TikTok and he looks at her Instagram, and he goes back to his dressing room and he was like, "You are not in competition with a 13-year-old girl."
Yeah,
like it's so true because you see these like I was thinking about it in the shower this morning. The entertainment industry or like comedy is the only industry where we are taught that it's inappropriate to consider it competition, but at the same time, it is competition. Like we are competing for a role, we are competing for the spot, we're competing for like the late night spot. But there's also in every other form of competition a point where it gets in someone's career where somebody else tells them you've gone as far as you can go. Yeah. Like running back, it's the best in high school, it's the best in college, it isn't gonna go to the NFL. Somebody tells him he's not 45, still like going to football open mics being like, I'm gonna do it.
Wow, interesting.
And so there's this point where I feel like, not like I want to tell people to give up, but there is a beautiful mix of like perseverance, longevity, and talent. And I think talent is kind of the third string on that. Like it, for the most part, is people that are able to stick around and persevere through all of that.
That's what I tell people. I go, don't quit.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I can give you the quit speech as well. Not you, but I could get someone that
You
quit
want to?
speech. Joey,
That'd be so
I
full
brought you here
circle.
today. Yeah, here's another email.
No.
Hang it up. No, but there's a lot of people that I'm like, if you cannot quit, and one of the ways you cannot quit is like I said, putting those blinders up,
Yeah.
and not exposing yourself to how toxic. And I admire your honesty at getting real with what traumatizes you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of waiting, and this is something I'm just learning, instead of waiting for someone with a PhD or someone else with worse trauma telling you that you were traumatized by what you were traumatized by. And
Yeah.
what bothered you, and that's okay. And that's the first step to kind of working with it.
Yeah.
Not to necessarily label yourself and become whatever, but like your shit is your shit, and that stuff was hard, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But it is a competition. You know what's interesting is you take somebody. What came to mind when you said that is Zach Galifianakis, who seems like the least competitive person in the world, and I mean that as like he's just a gentle Build-A-Bear of a man.
Yeah.
And yet, we all know that reality is that way. Reality is competitive. And one of the best, and I'm not saying Zach is doing this, I'll say I'm doing it. One of the best techniques to compete is to act like you're not competing.
Yeah.
But it's just a social strategy. It's like, you're a cool guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's, it's like how people say everything people are doing is to find a mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you're kind of like, well, I'm not here to hit on you. Well, that's your way of hitting on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're hitting meaning engaging or
Yeah, of
looking for a
course.
connection.
Yeah.
In the same way, the guy or the woman that's at stand-up that's like, I'm just trying to live in the moment. Like that might unconsciously be a way of being like, because as soon as they take the glass case off that cupcake, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to be okay with it. And American corporations are that way, and Americans are that way. As soon as the bullseye presents itself, no one will begrudge you for shooting the target.
Yeah. I think it's also, I've been doing it for so long that I have a hard time seeing the perspective of somebody that hasn't, like when I took a big break in stand-up because I started doing a Disney Channel show.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
And which was like
Your Prince years.
My Prince years, my good. It was a Prince.
Why
years.
would you want to be doing stand-up when you're a Prince? I mean, tell me a little. I thought you were going to say, by the way, that Disney was worse than stand-up for some reason. I don't know.
No,
why.
I mean realistically, no, because stand-up was like I've never gotten my feelings hurt from something that I'm doing in like an acting way. If somebody's like, your performance is terrible, it's gonna like hurt my feelings. But so much of my brain is like, well, this isn't what I do. I do stand-up comedy. This is like what pays I make money doing this. I don't make money doing stand-up.
Right.
And but there is a big part of it where I was going to this job where everybody was nice to me and like making sure that I was happy, because if I'm happy, then the job gets done. And then going to a world where like it was imposed on me that you have to grind and it's hard and you'll get bumped by Margaret Cho and you can't cry about it. And like so many things were going on, and somebody
You got chumped?
What?
If you get bumped by Cho, it's getting chumped.
I got
chumped,
chode.
bro.
Yeah,
you got chode.
I
Is
got
that from
chode.
Conan O'Brien Can't Stop?
No,
He says I got chode in that movie.
Oh,
Yeah, keep going.
damn it. Missed your reference. I want to get your references.
I thought you were making the
I
reference.
thought- I know. I
I thought
should've
I was
just-
getting your reference.
I thought I should have just kept going with it.
So stand-up is all grit and pirate lifestyle. And,
Yeah.
And what was Disney like? You show
I mean,
up
yeah, like
and they're...
it's the comfort that you want in stand-up is something that is like a prerequisite when you go to, like if you go to a green room and you get your own dressing room and I was 17, about to turn 18, and you get to a point where I'm working, like I have a job, I'm getting paid real money, and then I have school. I kind of dropped out of school. I took like a preliminary GED called the CHESP, the California High School Proficiency Exam.
Oh my gosh.
Passed it. And so when I was 17, they're like, you work for 12 hours a day, and 3 of those 12 hours have to be spent in a schoolroom doing school.
Yeah.
And then they're like, or you can take this test and you don't have to do that. And I'm like, well, obviously I'm gonna take the test and not do that because it's like, like Bart Simpson, like that's the life I'm living.
Yeah.
And then somebody that shall not be named, I don't know why. Honestly, they shall not be named because I do not remember their name. Not because I'm.
When we're the high key on the piano, we'll all be like, and the person who shall not be named, because it's a mess up there. Yeah. It's a swarm of bees up there.
Because I do not recall. But somebody said I had canceled the show at the Improv. And it was like we didn't have a live audience, but then one day we were having a live audience, and my stuff got moved. You know, it's like business, things get moved around. So I had to call them and say, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but I'm not gonna be able to make the show tomorrow." And they just chewed me out. And they were like, "You either pick one. You do stand up or you do acting. You can't have one foot. You're really fucking me over, and you can't just. You got to pick one."
I'm
and
Krasinskiing right now.
Like trying to figure out who it is.
No, I'm looking at the camera with a smug look because that is the worst thing I've ever heard.
And that happened.
Also, 24 hours. Come on.
I know.
Come on.
To cancel, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's totally within reason.
Really? Oh, I feel like maybe it's trauma, but I feel like it's not.
If you were Chris Rock playing the Palladium, it would be bad. But if you're a person on a showcase, I'm assuming this was 10 comics.
Yeah, right.
That's a 0.
Yeah, give Adam Ray an extra 3 minutes, guys.
Give every comic on the show 30 extra seconds.
Yeah.
And no one notices.
But it just...
This is what I mean. This person isn't even hearing you cancel. They're just hearing you saying, I disrespect you.
Yeah, exactly.
And are you disrespecting them? No. But that's what they're hearing. So we can't, I'm talking to myself right now, we can't take anything seriously because nobody's having a clean experience.
Yeah.
Nobody's seeing things as exactly as they are. Maybe once in a while.
And that guy that got mad at me or whatever, obviously I can do the whole thing like he was having a rough day but also he was running a business and was upset at somebody that he had hired to do a job and regardless of me being young, had like handled it in a certain way. I don't want to work for that person anymore.
Yeah.
And that in the long run, like we were saying, like
is a good
perseverance
thing.
and longevity, that's where like careers are made and mishandled.
You're really just reminding me how many toxic and sometimes coked up and sometimes drunk and depressed, whatever it might be, it's littered with them. And you're calling this person and you're really talking to their wound.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're not talking to them. You're talking to something that you incited. Because I'm telling you, in the realm of logic, you canceling is nothing.
Yeah.
And the reason I say Chris Rock, it's not like people are coming to see one person on the showcase.
Yeah.
It's a showcase.
It's a show. It's also the Hollywood Improv, so it's like David fucking Spade's coming. Like nobody cares.
No, I'm not trying to put you down.
No,
I'm just
but,
saying that's true.
Yeah, it is
it's
true.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Look, you got to pick what you get mad about.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many. Also, I think about it now, where your 44 is showing.
I'm dying today. Today I died on air.
So many.
Like Gigi Allen.
I have to raise your daughter. Damn it.
Yeah, you're my son. It's your job as my son.
But there are so many times, like I have stories or people that I talked to, and I had these, like what now I'm unboxing as trauma, but back then I was just like, I embarrassed myself, or I canceled on somebody, or I said the wrong thing.
Yeah, you ate it.
Yeah. And then I look back on it and I'm thinking, me being the age they were when I was that age, I would never talk to what is a child the way that they were talking to me. And then it changes it. It goes from like, I'm embarrassed to see this person, that made me scared and upset, to like, oh, this person was handling this so wrong that they really hurt somebody that was a fucking child.
And what's fucked up is they probably thought they could get away with it because it's a child.
Yeah, but I still have the text. I found him. I found the text the other day. I got him.
You know what's interesting is somebody just said this to me. I think it was Ryan Holiday. He said, we were talking about our parents, and sometimes our parents don't deal with us emotionally as we wish they would. And then he was like, and remember, that's how they dealt with it when you were a kid. So when you had an unmanageable feeling, that was the same kind of confusing system of responses that you got as a child.
Yeah.
So it helps you have compassion and understanding for yourself as a child. So yeah, that's fucked up.
A lot of people say like it's your parents' first time too. I love hearing that.
No, that's good.
When you've grown up, they're growing up also. So
that's also true. Yeah. No, everybody's doing their best.
But there's so many. I'm glad. I'm not like upset. Obviously, I have things I wish I would have done differently, but I am able to come. Like I took a break for like 4 or 5 years, I got to write stand-up for Liv and Matt for the show, the Disney Channel show. I got to perform it on the show. I was doing stand-up, just wasn't grinding. You know, I was doing stand-up maybe I would go like a month or two between stand-up shows because I was afraid. I was afraid that I was going to try and break back into this world, and they were going.
Somebody scared you.
Somebody scared me, and it's affected me still to this day because I've been like, I do stand-up I try 5 or 6 times a week if I can, and I just have to actively remind myself that I'm doing it because I enjoy it and because it is fun, and once I was able to kind of switch that in my head, which reminded me of how I originally started because it was a hobby and something I enjoyed and something I loved, and I love being in the environment. I love being around creative people trying their best to be funny. I just love every aspect of it. And the thing I don't like is the business side of it.
Yeah.
And the business side of it only really exists in LA with the people that are trying to do what I've already done. They want the ABC sitcom. They want to do a movie on Netflix. And there's a big part of me that is I just did it in a weird order, you know?
Yeah.
And I have to, because I do this thing that I do it right. I'm doing it right now with this podcast where I'm I'm not deserving of this. I gave up 5 years, or I'm not working hard enough, or these, the people you had Gary Goldman on last week. I feel like the step down is a couple flights of stairs. And so I do that with I tell myself these things, and then I have to actively tie those knots in my head.
It's all worthiness.
Yeah.
My agent actually said something to me the other day. He was shout out to Zach Drucker.
Zach Trucker?
Zach Drucker.
Oh, if it was Trucker, he'd be a country star. But
I know.
Drucker, he's an agent for the stars.
You with the truck? He was just you're only responsible to your audience. You know, it's give the purity of that.
Yeah, right.
But also your worthiness stuff. I mean, that stuff you'll be unpacking.
Oh, yeah.
If you're anything like me, that's still what I'm working on, is just going you're worthy. And what happened is you kind of got let into the bullshit carnival. And by bullshit, I mean fake. It's all ether.
It's smoke.
It's mist.
That's why I say.
And you got in early. It's why you say what?
That's why I say the kids need therapy when they're doing it, because you get accustomed to that.
Yeah.
And then the show ends, and these kids go to college, and then there's a reason that there's a cliche with post child stars going crazy, because they were in this fake
well, that's the whole thing.
World.
If you think, well, you're also been given an advantage, I would say, potentially. You know, Buddha was a prince. There you go.
Was he really?
Yeah. So he was born in a kingdom, and it depends, all of this is sort of exaggerated.
Buddha, normal weight.
Buddha, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Average normal weight.
Yeah, normal. All bodies are beautiful.
All bodies are beautiful.
But he was, he had riches, he had potential mates, he had every comfort. And then the story goes that he left the palace, and the first thing he saw was a beggar, a dying person. And so he starts seeing, old age is coming for all of us. Death and disease is coming for all of us. So he's slowly on this mythological or whatever based in truth journey. He saw all the suffering that comes for everybody. So he learned that the palace was not real, ultimately. Meaning there is no, it doesn't matter if Elon Musk goes to Mars. It's you'll still die up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's an advantage to seeing the smoke and mirrors of it. And I hope, and it seems like this is how you're taking it, is going that's an uncomfortable reality for people to kind of grapple with.
Yeah.
But you got to grapple with it early. Most of us, if you're lucky, you get to have your psychic break later in life.
I think I went through that horribly depressed part of my high school career, and then got taken out of school and got put in depressed kids school, where you work from home and you don't meet with a teacher, you meet with a counselor who's a therapist.
Yeah.
And ever since then, pretty much for the rest of my life, I see a therapist once a week. I think that's that's it. I credit so much of my perspective from just being able to talk to somebody that's removed from it and go this guy, this 45-year-old guy that runs a comedy club in North Hollywood, told me that I need to focus myself on a shtick. And she's like, that's crazy. He's a loser. or whatever. And like obviously she's not saying that.
That's crazy.
That's what it takes to go like, oh, this world that feels
What
like.
are these people that run clubs? I remember a guy told me I had to wear a red Atari T-shirt with a long sleeve white thermal shirt underneath.
Oh, that would have killed.
And that would be my thing, and then I could do colleges. And I was like, what is going on here?
It's so weird.
I don't understand.
It's also, I can't remember, somebody put it in a really like succinct way, that comedy is people that didn't make it telling people that are about to make it how they should make it. Like it's it's so true, because all the advice you get from people are like, let me tell you something, don't do colleges, it's a toilet, it'll steal your soul. I'm like, oh, don't do colleges, Mr. Hosting at the Zanies, you know what I mean? Like,
and I'm sure that person isn't being offered college.
Yeah. And it's just I don't know, I think it's one of those things where
well, don't take any of it seriously, I think is the big lesson.
I'm actively reminding myself, I'm doing this because I enjoy it. It's fun. And once I think that, I'm like, oh, I'm out of my, what if there's a booker here? Or like.
Yeah, like what my agent said, it's like you're really beholden to yourself. Like you can, instead of buying into the meaning making of the patio at the Comedy Store or wherever it was, you can buy into your own system.
Yeah.
And I think that's our job as we get older is to have your own mission statement.
Yeah.
Instead of the mission statement of, as you said, who made this mission statement?
Yeah.
And I even see the most successful people in the world, and I'm just like, that goes back to my Donnie Wahlberg.
And full circle,
We're back.
baby.
Take Donnie over Marky any day. Just because it's like, I'm at a level where like, people come up to me and go, did we go to school together?
Oh, yeah.
And that's great. Go to Disneyland, no problem. It's wonderful. Donnie's in that same kind of level.
Yeah.
You just want to like write your
Poor
own.
Donnie right now is like, listen to this.
I don't know Donnie enough to say, but I hope that Donnie is a happy Donnie instead of a sad Jim. Instead of a Jimmy Belushi. I don't know if Jim's unhappy. I'm just saying, like, you can set the mission statement for your own life.
Yeah.
Instead of letting these lunatics establish it. I don't
or
understand.
it's the climb. I'm sorry if we're talking too long. It's the like,
I thought she laughed. When Katie. No, I know when Katie laughs, I look. I go
in my head while I'm not looking the whole time. She's like. But there's like I talk to comedians that have been that like I I just did a show with Moshe Kasher, who like Kasher. Really, damn it.
Wow.
Okay, let's go back. I just did a show with Moshe Kasher.
We're keeping both of them.
Damn it. I love you, buddy. And, but like we hadn't performed together in 6 or something years. So I was a young kid. And, I don't know even where I was going with this, but there's a big part of me that's like, I expect somebody like that saw me when I was a kid. In my head, I'm Eddie Murphy. Like I should have kept going at the speed that I was at.
Yeah.
And from now I should be like, writing movies and being on SNL and doing all the stuff that I thought I was going to do at that time. And so when I myself am not doing that, I'm thinking that the people that I was around
nobody's
are doing that. Nobody's thinking that.
Nobody's thinking that.
And then you go to the point where it's just like, oh, it's just nice to catch up and talk. And our careers are different. And that's fun.
Cash up.
Cash up. Yeah, was it cash up, as I say?
Buddy, it's Buddha leaving the temple. It's all make believe.
I'm the Buddha of comedy.
You are the Buddha of comedy, and you're a normal weight.
Ah, thanks.
But it's
Aren't we
like
all?
I think what we're getting from what I'm getting from this conversation is you need to everybody listening, everybody everywhere. It's like you need to establish your own what's the word? Not credentials, your own criteria.
Yeah.
For what a good life looks like. And when I hear you say, I like doing stand-up, makes me happy, that's great. I would take issue with, you said earlier, they want a CBS sitcom. You don't know that. A lot of people get into stand-up because they just want to
of course.
drink Manhattans and, whatever. There's a million reasons why people get in. And I actually think a lot of people don't even know why they get into it. I think some people get into it because they would like to fail. They have some sort of weird
it's also the most vulnerable thing there is.
Yeah. And then there are people that want the whole thing and to eat it and to have it filmed while they're eating it. And that's great. I don't mean eating it, bombing. I just mean like they want all of it. And then there's people that are just craftsmen that just want to do great stand-up. But we don't know. What I'm saying is we don't even know why we're doing it, so we can't know why they're doing it. So you can't know how they're feeling. And even if they say they're feeling a certain way, you can't even know that that's true. So all you need to focus on is what gives you value, what gives you meaning, what makes you feel content, what lowers your anxiety, what makes you feel more connected, what makes you feel more tranquil, fulfilled, all that sort of
mindset
stuff.
changed everything for me, in especially in stand up. But in the it's not this, because before it was this active path to like validation or active path towards a goal. But then I also think about like the people that I really admire, Mr. Pete Holmes, Moshe Kasher, and just people that like I love as comedians. It's not like they are working towards a certain goal. They are just doing comedy, and what comes to them comes to them.
Because you see people come up and then come down, they're still doing it because it's a good life.
It is a good life, and it's fun, and it's like the only. I was talking to my dad. This was years ago, and I was like, I just don't know. Like, comedy is hard, and I'm not getting booked in acting, and I don't really have anything else I can do because I took the chess bee, and I've been doing this my whole life. And my dad so earnestly goes, maybe you should try getting into music. Like, just the thought that there's this other
course,
change careers to the most similar possible thing.
He's looking at his phone. He's just looking at Taylor Swift. Maybe music. So thanks, Dad. Thanks.
But I think it's just one of those things where it is the longevity, and it's what you can do that keeps you sane long enough to be able to do it until it becomes
totally
something else.
I mean, yeah. To put my own button on it, it's like when I do stand up, I feel less afraid. I feel more at home in my body.
Yeah, same.
I'm a better person, having been heard, having figured out how I feel, delighting people. Being delighted in is a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
Traveling, having people say like,
we went to high school together.
Didn't we go to high school together? And I say, get the fuck away from me. But I mean, I think a stand-up life and just a regular good life have a lot of things in common. It's figuring out what brings you into peace and feeling at home in your skin.
Yeah.
And that could be being an architect, or it can be, but some sort of expression, that's what the War of Art is all about, is like figuring out what was given you so you can give it back. And ours just happens to be comedy.
Huh.
Let's do a little speed round and get out of here.
Yeah, baby.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
Have I ever seen a ghost?
Seem like a ghost guy.
Do I seem like a ghost guy?
I say that to everybody.
I was going to say, I don't.
UFO?
I have seen a UFO, but like UFO to me, like unidentified to me is different than like unidentified to the right. Because I could see a plane that I don't know what kind. But
it's tricky.
I definitely did see a UFO.
Where?
I was driving, I was like 17 or 18. I was driving with my dad from San Francisco. It was like middle of the night because I had a show. And then I had another show the next day, or like an audition in LA. So we were doing that drive through the night, and we were going by Avenal, which is a military base. So was probably them doing stuff. But there was before quadcopters, there was like a little green light in the sky that was moving in a way that I couldn't, like before now I see a quadcopter and that moves in a way, like on a different axis or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was moving in a way fast through the sky. But the thing that really sold it was being chased by like a military cargo plane with like a spotlight. And I swear to God, this happened.
No. Trying to get it back. Yeah. Whoa.
It was crazy. Me and my dad like watched it for a little bit until it was out of sight. And then we were just like, that was crazy and unidentified to us, but like to them, they probably knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But definitely weird.
Very weird.
Very weird.
Have you ever almost died?
I was, kind of. I was in a...
well, it's going to be kind of.
Yeah.
If I'm asking you, it's kind of.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pull off my fake leg. I was in a plane that had a fire, or electrical fire in the cockpit.
Oh, no.
When we were flying from Orlando to LAX I was doing a Disney thing.
Whoa.
And we fell from the sky and then crash landed in Tampa.
What do you mean you fell from the sky?
Like
You free fall?
They had an electrical fire, and then I guess like the thing to do is like nosedive.
Oh, but it flew.
It flew, yeah.
It wasn't like the engines died.
No.
So you were like, go down now.
They're like, go. We took off. We reached cruising altitude, and then landed in Tampa, which is like not that far from Orlando. So it was crazy. And
sullied it.
I sullied it, and I took control.
You were sullied.
Is there a pilot back there? But I remember thinking, this is. I don't mean to get back into like the career, but I was at a point in my life where I was so content with dying. Like my brother was. I took my brother on that trip. Because
you looked at him like, sorry, bro.
Dude, literally, like no joke. I was sitting there. He had just graduated from Berkeley, and I was sitting next to him, and they were like, the stewardess, like the scariest part about it was that the stewardesses were terrified. They were like, the crash landing positions for everybody in first class is to hook your thumbs behind your knees. And they're like, the crash landing position for everyone in economy is to hug your chest. I was like, they're lying to you. Do what they told us to. They're trying
Do the premium one.
Yeah, they're trying to make the rich survive.
If you are United Mileage Plus, put your hand over your head. Sir, are you Premier Plus?
American Express card holders. Put your hands on your... But I turned to my brother and I was like, you know what? This makes sense. I was like, I've done a lot. I was like, I just have lived a really fast, crazy life, and it makes sense. And my brother's like, I haven't lived a life yet.
It's so funny because when you were mentioning Jim Belushi saying the line of his obituary would be brother of John Belushi.
Yeah.
Mark Maron had a bit of Flying to Montreal, and who cares? Johnny Depp, let's say, or fucking Mick Jagger.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, I wouldn't even be in the headline.
Yeah.
It'd be like, these people died. Also, in last paragraph, comedian Mark Maron was also
I just want to
found.
do something notable enough to where when I die, it's not Disney Channel star dies in a train crash.
Yeah.
I want it to be at least something else. Like,
Yeah. Good news. You won't care and you won't know.
That's true. Yeah. Unless I fake it like
Neither
Elvis.
will I. Oh.
Ooh.
Pauly Shore, less famously.
Pauly Shore faked his
There's a movie
death.
called Pauly Shore is Dead, kind of like your movie. Stu is Dead?
Oh, huh. Sid. Close enough.
Sid.
Damn, that research really paid off.
I should have written it down.
Oh, thanks, Philip. Philip Holmes. Yeah, you have like 3 things.
It's his parents' performing bully acting school. That's all I wrote.
Wow.
That's all I wrote.
Inside of your brain is incredible.
That's all I need.
It's fascinating.
Thank you. It's a bad neighborhood. What about the hardest time you've laughed in your life? Can you think of a time you laughed really, 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 really hard?
Man, no one makes me laugh like my mom makes me laugh. Like she's just one like our sense of humor is that we get like really giggly.
Really?
Yeah, which I love. And
I'm dead. Now that I have a daughter, I'm like, if my baby goes, no one makes me laugh like my dad, I'll be like, oh shit.
I mean, you got to. It's your whole
My
your whole
daughter is
thing.
really used to my bits though.
Yeah.
Like I'm always acting a fool with Leela, and then her little friends come over, and I'm silly with them, and they're like blown away. And Leela's like, Leela will do this. He goes, he's joking.
Yeah.
'Cause they'll be like, they'll say, where is something? And I'll be like, I don't know. I think it might be in my butt, or something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say in my butt.
That's my go-to. with
Like
kids.
something like that.
Something fart, but they love it.
That's
Butt
what I mean.
cheeks.
Poop.
Yeah.
And Leela will just go, he's kidding. So I love that your mom still gets you.
Oh, yeah.
And you got giggle fits?
Oh yeah, we get like full on giggle fits. Like she's gotten to a point. She just turned. She's not going to want me to say this, but she just turned a significant age that rhymes with mixty. So I'm not really saying
It's not
it.
even that old.
And but thank you for saying that. She's gonna love you.
She's going to love it.
But we just had her thing, and my go-to for her always has been like, treat her like this elderly woman that's walking around. She hates it. Now she's getting to that point. And the funniest thing you can do is get like her whole life, my whole life, she's been the elderly woman. And I'm like, I'm going to help you up the stairs. And she turned 60 and the joke stopped. That's where the real real humor comes in. It's like now that's not even funny anymore. Because
she's like 20 years away from that. Like
20 years away from death?
No, from like needing help up the stairs. I don't know.
Yeah.
My parents are in their 80s, and it just started being like, you don't go for walks.
It's
anymore.
It's shocking to me.
It's like walk. You want to go for a walk? That's off the table.
Yeah. Want to go get the mail becomes the walk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My friend has a dad who's 80, and he goes, his whole thing is the mail. His whole everything is, have you gotten the mail? We checked the mail? What did we get in the mail today? It just becomes your whole life.
Oh boy, that was a sobering thought to close on. I also thought of a Series 80 HD. So it's a documentary about being 80, and it's in high def, and it's called ADHD.
That's funny. It's about a bunch of old people that have hyperfixation, like Rubik's Cubes and stuff for 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they don't have the arthritic function to do it, but they're like, I know
Watching
what I
old
would
people
do.
struggle with like fun little hobbies. That's what I want to
That's
see.
ADHD.
Yeah.
I think we can pitch
Watching
that.
them paint little miniatures with their shaky hands.
Oh no, too far.
Oh, too far? Yes, and it, Peter.
I can't. My mom. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Well, thanks, buddy. This was awesome.
This was
I'm so
great.
proud of you.
I'm proud of
You're
you.
valid. You're valuable.
I needed that.
You're okay. You're doing well.
I'm going to go scream from a mountaintop.
Keep
now.
going. Would you mind screaming Mountain Dew Code Red? We have a deal with them. I'm just kidding. Thank you for doing this,
Watch
man.
Alone on Max.
Is it on Max? I think it's on Hulu.
I don't know. Oh, sorry. Well, there goes your time. I'm not going to do that again. Not for free.
Fuck. Fuck. Well, thanks, pal. Would you say keep it crispy?
Oh, yeah. Keep it crispy, baby.
I don't recall saying baby.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
That's a Spider-Man audition all over again.
You take it.
You made it way